What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Juices Loose podcast. This is number 158. We got 6 people tonight. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to get right into it. But first, October 20th, 2017, Fire Emblem Warriors just got officially confirmed release date for North America and Europe. And Rob, since you haven't been on in a while, what's your take on what do you think of this release date?
So,
1 week before Odyssey.
Yeah, it's definitely surprising, and I feel like I might be in the minority on this one, but I'm overall taking it as a good thing. Kind of because I'm just excited to play the game, and I'm glad I'll get it sooner than I was expecting. Like, I thought probably November was going to be the time. I mean, I think a lot of us maybe guessed, hey, November seems perfect for Fire Emblem, and then that would make December perfect for Xenoblade. And having it October 20th is way surprising. But I'm cool with it, you know. I'm a little bit nervous with the Mario Odyssey so close. Are they going to chew into each other's sales, or is Odyssey just going to totally bury Fire Emblem? Maybe, but I'm cool with it. I'm overall pretty excited. So,
all right, Terrell, what about you? What do you think?
Initially, I was mad. I've kind of warmed up to it because I realized a lot of people are saying, well, why doesn't it come out the same time as it does in Japan, which is like the end of September? But Japan is already pretty slammed as it is. I mean, not Japan, fucking September. September is pretty slammed as it is with third party and like first party releases. Although a lot of them are ports, it's still a whole bunch of games. I think I don't necessarily think October the 20th is the best date, but I guess you don't want it. To me, you would have to push the whole game back by like a month or so for it to make any sense. Like in Japan, it would have to get pushed back too. So I think I'm not mad as I was about it earlier. I'll say that.
All right. How about Ms. T? What do you think? Do you think having a bunch of or some old games and ports come out in September and pushing Fire Emblem into October? Do you think? How do you feel about that?
I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference. For one, I don't think you're dealing with the same fans, especially for like Fire Emblem, and then you have Musu on top of it. Like, so I think it's just, I actually think it's a smarter move because you want kind of that, a different game to come out around the same time as Mario, so they can pick that up as well. Nintendo's done that before, and it seemed to have worked out for them before. So I think it'll be fine. I think the games are so different that people who want Fire Emblem is going to get it anyway, and maybe that person will pick up Mario and they wouldn't before, or vice versa. So I think it'll be fun.
It'll be definitely interesting to see. Retrodeath, how do you feel about the release date? Because that's same for Europe as well.
I'm exactly with T on this. For me, it's like I think they're doing it because like a lot of people also seem to forget like not everybody likes Zelda, and I think that's what they're doing. Like not everybody's gonna buy Mario, so you have like a more serious game for the other crowd. Personally, it will affect me because I was really excited for Fire Emblem, but I'm not buying 2 games in 1 week span. So it's probably gonna push Fire Emblem back for me a little bit.
Yeah, and I'm in the same boat. I'll get to Robert last. For me, it became not a day one purchase anymore. It's just, and the reason I brought up the September title is because for me, Pokken Tournament doesn't have to come out this year. We already have some excellent fighters, and Rayman Legends to me is a mute point to like that game's been out for so long that it's not like, oh, you can't it's too crowded in September. For me, it's like FIFA 18, September 19th. That's for Europe. That's probably going to be a pretty important release. Mario +Rabbids comes out at the end of August. But for me, it just sucks because there's no way I'm going to buy Fire Emblem Warriors and play it for a week, and then Mario's just going to dominate my playtime for a long time. So I might as well just wait, hope, maybe even see if there's a price drop. I don't know if since Koei Tecmo and Nintendo, I don't know if it will, but
I doubt it.
It was kind of a bummer
I doubt it too,
because even if I bought it, it's just not going to get a lot of playtime. So I might as well just wait until maybe some room opens up because, I'm on the fence with Skyrim, which will probably be November, and Rocket League's, that to me, like Rocket League's small, kind of a small multiplayer game.
It's going to be like a $20 game.
That could, that could go along with something like Fire Emblem or Mario. So for me, it just kind of sucks because it's just, I know I'm not going to buy it day one anymore unless, I don't know, spontaneously I'm at the store and just feel like, oh, I might as well I'll pick it up. But at this point, I'm not planning on getting it till later. So,
I'll buy it day one and play it for a week and beat the main campaign.
Yeah.
And get Mario and, you know, do the little side stuff or extra stuff on Fire Emblem. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
I'll just rotate between the two.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, me too.
And that's going to depend on what other games I pick up in October and stuff, too. So we got NBA 2K whenever the physical comes out. And
so you're not getting the digital, you're only getting the physical.
Well, yeah, to save like $17 or whatever with the $5 coupon I have, plus 20% off.
Are you getting the super legendary gold kind of crazy version now?
Yeah, right.
Getting the one that's going to cost me $42 out the door. So
Smotch Man, a good purchase.
I'm getting the stupid version.
That's okay.
Let's go to Robert because you just found out about Fire Emblem because you were on a cruise and you missed a lot of stuff. So what did you think of the release date and how is it going to affect you?
Oh man, when I saw that release date, it was like, you know, it's technically like, oh, it comes out sooner. Then I'm like, oh damn, I thought it was gonna come out in November. So it totally like throws everything off. And honestly, I'm definitely not gonna buy it the same day, like that day one. Definitely won't, just because I'm going to have Mario, my most anticipated game of like my life right now, is coming out. And there's no way I'm going to put that game down until at least Xenoblade comes out. Like, there's no chance that card is coming out of my Switch anytime. Like, Odyssey I've been, since Super Mario 3D World, since 2013, I've been dying for a new 3D Mario. There's no way in hell a Dynasty Warrior game is going to come in front of that. Like, it's not going to happen.
Not even for Zelda's story DLC?
Well, but that
that's
when is that?
Yeah, that's gonna be even worse.
You still gotta switch the card.
Yeah, that's true.
It depends.
I think that's gonna be.
I think it'll be
mid to late November. But
that's the thing is like, if it's like, that's why I was saying like it'll be a month.
Xenoblade, so Xenoblade's probably gonna be December.
Yeah, that's why.
It's gotta be.
Yeah, you would hope. I would think
that game's. If you guys didn't catch the footage, it's all in English. Everything they show.
Already. Yeah, when they released an English trailer, I was so happy.
They're just bug testing right now. That's
all the text.
That'll come out in November. I have a sneaking suspicion.
But let's stick with Fire Emblem for a minute because there's also something that just got.
It's a collector's edition.
That and we can get to collector's edition later. But I want to talk about the supposed option to go 60 frame, or I don't know if it's going to be based on resolution or frame rate in the options menu, but whatever you can lower the resolution to get a higher frame rate or play it in its standard 1080p target 30. We don't know, probably almost guaranteed it's not going to be locked on either one. But for me, that's pretty intriguing. And I think it's cool because if anyone saw the Digital Foundry analysis on the Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2, which was a rush port, and it was basically the demo build they tested, but that game suffered into the 20s consistently, which
every time you swung your sword, it dropped frames.
And you know, Hyrule Warriors was, I never knew it, dropped to like 25 to 28 consistently, which
I would believe it. I played so much of that game.
But 20 is on another level. I mean, it doesn't sound like much, but when you hit 20, when Zelda hits 20, it's so noticeable. So
no, it's true. It's definitely true.
Yeah, that's like Ocarina of Time levels.
So for me, like, I'm not like, after Hyrule Warriors, like, to me, it doesn't have the fluid animations and this rich, like, perfect, like the timing of the combat isn't as, to me, it doesn't feel like as tight as like a Bayonetta or something. It feels a little more, you know, where you don't need that 60, but I'm more intrigued in just not being down in 20. Like, for me, I don't care as much about the resolution, and I necessarily don't need 60 for that type of game. But if the 30 means 20, then I definitely would prefer 60, which would probably be more like 40 to 45, which is, you know, way more acceptable. So that's kind of my approach. I'm going to try them both when I get the game. And, you know, it wasn't an interview. This seems like pretty legit information. from the
Yeah,
director.
I'm pretty sure it's confirmed. I think it's
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 confirmed.
Yeah,
it's been
So,
which is good news.
what do you guys? T, did you have something to add?
No, I was just saying. I don't know. Did Rob get to go about the Mario and whatchamacallit thing? They're coming
The
out at the
Mario
same time.
Yeah.
He went on that. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Thanks
right.
for looking out for me, though, bro.
Yeah, no problem.
Squad, let's go.
Yeah, I'm with you on this on it, Juice. It's like, you know, I would be surprised if Koei Tecmo could ever get their Musu games at lock 60. They just don't seem to have the technical know-how with that stuff for some reason. I don't know, but no matter what the power is, I'm sure they couldn't even do it on the Xbox One X. But yeah, like this is, you definitely want, you know, it above 25. So if it drops below that, being able to go into 720p 60, quote unquote 60, then that would probably be the better way to go. Because, you know, the games aren't like visually stunning anyway. So losing a little bit of resolution isn't going to hurt it. So
Yeah, I'd be curious if it affects the cutscenes. If you drop it.
That's true. That's true.
Because, you know, you want to see that Camilla and 1080p.
You want to see those?
I knew it was coming up.
I fucking knew it.
If it was like,
Oh man,
if it was like if they did the analysis and the 1080p like 30 is like a really solid 30, then I probably wouldn't even mess with the 60, but just because, you know, that game controls on like what 8 direction. It has your character runs straight or like to the left, like. You know, it doesn't have a whole lot of
in handheld mode.
They didn't say anything about handheld mode
because it's already 720p on the screen.
Yeah, I
so
think it's going to be lock 30 or that. I think that option is going to be taken away. Maybe
I think
see.
it's docked only. At least is what they've been talking about.
Otherwise, it's going to drop down to 480p on the.
No way!
No,
No way!
no.
That's bad.
I don't know what Pokken Tournament demo is, but it looks a little blurry in portable mode.
What? I've heard people say that. I have no idea what they're referring to when they say that.
That's all I've played it in, and I was like, man, this looks really blurry.
Uh-oh.
You're not the only one to say that. But I don't,
Trouble in Poketown.
But anyway, whoever wants to go next on this option for Framerate and like the PS4 Pro, I think was the first we were introduced on consoles to this kind of option. I don't know, it's been on PC for years. So it's
PCs definitely have allowed us to. This is kind of newer for consoles.
So what's your take on it, Terrell? What do you think was the inspiration for them to make this move?
Well, I was gonna say, because I looked it up. I was looking it up. Dragon Quest Heroes on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Well, no, PlayStation 4, because you know Xbox One doesn't believe in Japan. I heard apparently 60. It's pretty locked at 60. So it's not that Koei Tecmo can't do it. I'm a little bit more positive that it will at least be locked at 60 if the resolution has to drop. Now, granted, I don't necessarily think it's going to be locked. I think it'll probably hover around 50, maybe 40. The other cool thing I noticed is that when you look at Digital Foundry's video about their first impressions of Fire Emblem Warriors, they already said it was more consistent frame rate wise than Zelda was, which to me already says, well, I didn't mind playing Zelda, so I mean, if it's more consistent than that, I'm perfectly cool with it. The inspiration, though, I wonder if that's just something Koei Tecmo themselves, because I know I've been hearing rumors that Koei Tecmo's like new Dynasty Warriors games are going to be running on a completely new engine, and I think maybe they've just finally gone, okay, we know what we need to do, so maybe they've just figured out that's the trick to, at least for lower powered consoles, to present that as an option, because some people care about the flashiness of the moves and don't necessarily care that the game is stuttering like a goddamn train. And some people care about playing fluid gameplay, even though because to me, you're running around in the groups of enemies and then hitting the X and Y buttons multiple times. You don't really need like this really precise control. I mean, obviously good frame rate is good frame rate. So I wonder if it's just them finally figuring out more techniques of doing what they want to do with their engines. And plus that they have their new engine that'll be debuting, I guess, kind of soonish.
I mean, honestly, for the most part, like the frame rates in Musu games, you know, Dynasty Warriors and whatnot, never bothered me all that much because it's these games are super ambitious with the amount of characters that are on screen. So I kind of expect a little bit of a slowdown from that stuff.
Even though I've noticed the pop-in of the enemies seems really bad in this one versus what I remember Hyrule Warriors being like
really,
they're really on top of
I
them.
don't think
and
it
all of
was
a sudden-
as bad as Hyrule.
I was
Hyrule
watching
Warriors was pretty bad with that.
Was it? Well, this was like
Yeah.
literally guys were spawning on like next to the character as they're running in.
Yeah, that's happened in Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah, Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah, I mean it did. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Hyrule Warriors is pretty bad with that too. It wasn't like
I guess when you're playing it, you don't notice as much.
Warriors, Dynasty
as watching.
Warriors.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always someone who, especially with how much time I put into Hyrule Warriors, like that never really bothered me. It was just like, well, that's just what happens. As long as there's guys that keep showing up for me to kill, that's all I want to do when I play this game. So it didn't hold it back for me. But I'll even jump in and I'll say I have a pretty positive outlook on this thing. I think it's really good information. I'm basing it on two things. One is pretty much my time with Hyrule Warriors because it's the only Dynasty Warriors Musi game I've ever played, and I freaking loved it despite all of its flaws. I just absolutely loved Hyrule Warriors. And I'm also kind of basing it on the game Neo that came out earlier this year, which, if you guys remember, this might have happened before, but that's the only console game I've ever known of that let us do the same thing.
Oh yeah, it
when
did.
you start the game, yeah, exactly. And
Neo
I tried it in both ways. You can pick resolution over frame rate or vice versa.
Oh, that did it on the standard PS4 too.
Yeah, that was
was
on
it-
just my regular PS4.
Yeah, I knew it was an option in the Pro. It's been a commonplace, but I didn't know they did that for the standard.
Yeah, they did. And I thought that was really cool, and I was excited to try it out. And, like, I learned really quickly that there's no doubt for that kind of pretty fast-paced, combo-oriented, weapon-wielding gameplay, like, 60 frames per second feels a lot better. And whether or not they're going to hit 60 frames per second, like, I guess that's a little bit tougher to say. But at the end of the day, I just like that they're giving us the option. Like, I've played Hyrule Warriors to death, so I know what to expect from the gameplay in Fire Emblem Warriors. And I've played the difference of like 30 frames and 60 frames in an action game, and I know the difference there. I think it's cool that they're giving us the option. Like, maybe it only gets up to 40 or 50, and that will be just kind of what it is. But at least they're saying you can sacrifice the resolution, which doesn't matter. Like, that doesn't really matter as long as it's not horrible. But the frames per second can really help like how fun the game feels to play. So I'm excited for it, and I feel like maybe. I know you're talking about like the inspiration to do it. Maybe they just know that they've had this problem forever and they're just really trying to like bust their asses to like really try to make this something that they can fix and give stable frame rates and make the gameplay even better. And Nintendo might have been like really on them. Like, we got to make, this is our Switch. This is like, it's got to be so good because it's on our new console. It can't be bad and it can't have frame rate problems. So like they really pushed for that reason too, maybe. So
Yeah, let me
I loved it.
let me propose a question, and I'll go to Retro Death, and you can talk about Fire Emblem. But also, what if this option became available for, let's say, Zelda? Let's say you could have it run at 720p native and get an absolute locked 30 and never see dips down to 20 and like the Korok Forest and stuff. So I don't know, whatever one you want to tackle first, and then if anybody else wants to comment on the Zelda one afterwards.
I'll answer that one quickly first. I would definitely love it if more games gave you the option. I think a lot of people would like it because a lot of people always like to complain about frame rate. So giving people the option, I think, is a great idea. For me, currently, I'm trying to, since last month, working really hard on building a massive PC because I want to get like this beast ready for when Darksiders 3 launches. Until then, I have my crummy laptop. And I love PC gaming, so I'm used to, for example, taking something like Skyrim and removing the grass, removing the shadows, removing the light, so that I can get it to run smoothly. So when I think of what they're doing now, I have a feeling the graphical difference is going to be very small somehow. If it's just resolution, that I'll probably play it on 60, which I'd rather do than having some sharper visuals, for example. But like with the laptop, I have to be able to see it first. I have to know if it's, for example, a huge impact on the game graphically. Like let's say if I have the game and they remove like all the grass and all the textures from the walls, then I'd rather play it at 30 frames. So I'd have to see it to know the difference really. But if it's just a resolution thing, like how Zelda Breath of the Wild on the Wii U and the Switch are different, I'd probably pick 60 frames.
All right. What about you, Robert? What do you think?
So I love that idea. I think it's super cool because, yeah, on PC, it's great to always have your options. You really have, I mean, pages of options at times to just mess around with. And it's awesome that they're you know, stepping in for consoles for that. And I think it would be awesome if more games did that. And I think it's pretty cool that they're doing it here. And for me, I think I'm with Retro. I'd have to see what the differences are. But it'd probably be 72060, just because it'd be cool to get a smoother game looking. But yeah, I think it's awesome. I think it's an incredible idea. And
what about Zelda? If it had 720p and it's absolute locked 30, would you think you'd play it that way?
For sure. Definitely again with Retro. If it did like make the world look like pretty bad, I'd be like, what happened to it? But yeah, I definitely try to have it at that 30 because that again the Korok, man, that was so annoying. And when I was like,
brutal. Every time I have to go there, I'm like, oh god, no.
It's like, damn, it sucks, man.
And if you're using the magnesis a lot, like trying to find those the treasure chests from like the expansion pass, and you're walking around in any environment with that magnesis up a lot, I've noticed a lot more slowdown. Like I said, I think last week or maybe 2 weeks ago, since the DLC update, I've noticed way more slowdown in areas. Like they made it better, and then I think whatever this DLC did, maybe it's that map feature something tracking even though it was already tracking, but it just feels like there's a lot more dips. And I'm playing through a second time, so I'm at like 240 hours in the game. Obviously, it doesn't affect it that much, but it is noticeable.
It's a good example because since the DLC, I played it more, and currently I'm trying to look for that Makara mask in the forest. So I'm running through this main area all the time, and it's like
with
playing
the
a picture book. Like I'm trying to look for it, but every time, like, okay, maybe it's over here, so I'll go over there, so I'll go via this area. So, but every time you come back in the middle, so you really notice it. So if in Zelda, for example, I could pick this locked frame rate, I would do it because especially now, this forest is driving me crazy because I'm spending so much time there.
That's where I dealt with it a lot, and someone gave me just a small tip on where to look because there's a lot of areas in the Korok Forest. So, and I'm gonna go to Terrell real quick, but I do gotta eat my words a little bit. I was just watching some Fire Emblem Warriors footage, and the popping wasn't nearly as bad. I don't know what
I
if I saw one.
think it was. So that's
I didn't think it was either.
I swear I saw one, and maybe it was the Hyrule Warriors. I
think the very early footage of Fire Emblem had that. I think I really
you're talking about the E3 demo probably.
Yeah, and I mean it does look nice in 1080. So
I think it looks pretty darn good, man. I think
definitely have to see. But Terrell, your take on the frame rate in Fire Emblem, and then how would you play Zelda given the option? Because it is a good look when you're just like kind of in a good area and the lighting's right, it does look pretty sharp. I mean, it looks really nice at times. Would you sacrifice the resolution to have a lock 30, not going up to 60? Because I don't think that'd be possible.
I would say as far as my thoughts on it, it's great. I don't know anyone who would be like, oh, I'm so angry that you gave me another option for how I want to play my games. How fucking dare you, Koei? How dare you, Nintendo?
There's somebody out there.
Options are for scrubs.
I don't want options. I want you to make all my decisions for me. I
want you to buy my groceries.
Yeah, I know, man. Take my baby out for dinner. I don't want to do none of that shit. All right, I'm gonna stop. But yeah, it's cool, dude. And there's nothing too much to go as far as that's concerned. It's cool stuff. And as far as Zelda's concerned, I would totally play that as a lock 30. I don't really care. See, the thing is, the thing with Nintendo games is that although they have great art styles, you can obviously tell about graphical issues, like how some of the shadows aren't as defined as others. And if you're used to that, then dropping it to 720p isn't gonna like piss me off. It probably would bother me more with like a game like Horizon Zero Dawn than it would with Zelda. So locking Zelda to 30 to drop it at 720p isn't going to piss me off. Because actually, I think that's what it is on the Wii U, isn't it? It's 720p. Yeah, so I don't give a fuck. It's fine.
Yeah, I think it would be cool to see, at least have the option and know, for ourselves. But there's definitely some, like I said, I'm noticing it more and more in my second playthrough. And I'm just like, it's just not as fluid. It sucks to have that Nintendo had to, I think they just felt like they had to have it be higher resolution than the Wii U version just to justify it being on a new system. And I think if they built a game engine from the ground up, for the Switch, I don't think it'd be
that's what I was about to say. I feel like part of it is because they started development on the Wii U, which we all know was like the weirdest architecture apparently ever inside of a console. So it's probably partly that.
I thought the PS3 was.
Yeah, PS3,
PS2
were, but according to Tech Heads, the Xbox 360 was PowerPC, similar to.
It's pretty close to Xbox 360.
The clock speed on the 360 was ridiculously high.
Yeah, I mean that was
today's standards. So
something was happening there because the 360 was notorious for having the best ports. So
yeah, it had to really. The CPU was just clocked really ridiculously high. I mean, I think it was like, I forget now, but it's higher than PS4, Xbox One clock speed. Things got more efficient, but they're just a little more reliant on GPU versus the 360. Even though it was similar PowerPC, apparently, I don't know. Maybe I remembering that wrong. I swore someone told me it was PowerPC on the 360, but x86 this gen was the first time with PS4, Xbox One that a console was x86, I believe. So, anyway, enough tech talk. Anybody want to comment on the Fire Emblem, the special edition? I didn't even look at it. I'm not interested in it, but
there's a lot of stuff that I'll say.
I'm conflicted.
Is there a price? Is it?
I don't think there's a price.
Yeah, it is 80.
Well, then
So what do you get?
That was my guess.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
You get 3 CDs.
What's in the box?
You get 3. What's in the box?
Put it in the box.
There's 3 CDs. There is, I think, a booklet, and then there's like character cards. So the weird thing about the character cards, I guess, though, is I think there's 18 confirmed characters we know of, but there's 25 character cards in the special edition.
Oh, goddamn.
So it's like, okay, that gives us like some sort of like difference in like characters we don't know about.
Only 25 characters. Seems like they had so much to pull from, but.
Well, the problem is that
they made 1 or 2.
You gotta pay for some extra ones. Man.
Yeah, I'm about to say, you know they're gonna do DLC if you want.
Yeah, that season pass is coming, man.
I can say right now, that ain't worth $80 to me. 3 CDs from probably the in-game music and some cards. Like, come on.
I agree.
And it's like a I think the only thing else I see is a poster and.
Oh, maybe the poster.
I mean, the game is 60. The game is 60 by itself, so I guess it's $20 more. But to me, that's definitely not.
So, and here's the thing: we got a true Fire Emblem game coming next year, and they're gonna do some special edition for that thing. You might as well wait on that one.
Is this the same one that Europe's getting? Because we always talk about how they get the better one.
I think it's literally the same thing.
Yeah, I think
that's why
just the CD and the cards.
That's why I was going to say, even though I don't really want this or think it looks that great, it's actually pretty cool because we haven't been getting a lot of those in North America.
Yeah.
From Nintendo. So it's just cool to see that they finally threw us a bone.
Sucks. Well, we're getting the same one, but it's not as cool as when they get one that we're not. It's usually because it's just something really awesome, like the
Fatal Frame is the one that always jumps.
Fatal Frame, the Bayonetta.
I want to talk about that one. That one makes me sad.
Oh, Bayonetta! Forgot about Bayonetta.
Yeah, because we can get the Steelbook.
God,
they're gonna get the UK numbers up, So.
Yeah.
So
well, it's not just that. It's also like I think with the Wii U, especially me here in Europe, I guess we've been pretty blessed. Like Hyrule Warriors came with like the scarf and everything, Mario Kart with the statue. So just some character cards and the soundtrack. When I look at that, it's like
Yeah.
Yeah, it's looking a little not special.
It's more like
you're so clever, Juice. You're so clever.
Not very special is what.
Oh God!
I mean, for example, for comparison, like not to rub this in Rob's face, but because I talked to him about this, but the Metroid thing that's coming out like next month. It has like a keychain and a coin, and it has like also the soundtrack and a steelbook, and that's for a fucking 3DS game, and it's so
dope.
much shit in there.
It's so super dope.
Well, to be fair,
that's a good example.
It is Metroid, though.
We literally are getting just the all we're getting is the soundtrack.
Yeah.
All right, so Retro, you got to pick me that one up, and then.
Yeah, but this looks way cooler. The UK one. It looks so cool. I would definitely get this.
Wait, are you talking about Fire Emblem now, or
no? The Metroid.
Metroid.
Yeah, it's really cool, man. It's really, I'm really pumped about it.
Even I couldn't find that one anywhere, and I've been hunting that shit day and night. I've had a friend in England get that for me from where he's gonna ship it to me, which is pretty expensive by itself. Because even me, I just couldn't find it on any side.
Yeah, it looks like an old Game Boy cartridge. The steel the steel case. Like, come on.
Yep.
Oh yeah. By the way, did y'all see that new Metroid: Samus Returns commercial they did?
Yep, I saw it
Yeah.
today. It was great.
I'll watch it
And
right now.
seeing that CGI Samus, that's 10 out of 10.
Dude, it looks so
What? I
good.
didn't even see that.
I wonder if
10 out
they,
of
It's
10.
they
30
make
seconds.
it.
You guys should watch it. Pull
They
it up.
must
It's
make
really
it
quick.
higher resolution, and then, or is this just for the commercial? You
No,
think?
it's
that looks-
it's not in the game. You'll
Oh,
see.
okay.
Yes, it is in the commercial.
It's
Yeah,
just
that
a
looks
model.
pretty sweet.
Yeah, the
Wait till
cutscenes
the
in the game
end.
are all in game.
Yeah, the end shot of that Samus looks freaking incredible, dude.
Looks
It's
like they
Yeah.
made a real suit. And
Yeah, which reminds me, for anyone, I bet T, you might remember this, the original Metroid Prime commercial,
Nice.
where
Yeah,
they had
action.
someone in the suit.
That was
walking-
amazing.
Oh, so good. Actually,
that's-
all of the Metroid Prime 1, Metroid Prime 2, and I know you guys can hate, but
Yeah,
also
I-
Other
I-
M.
I was
Oh,
gonna say,
Other M had great.
Other M
Other M had great.
great.
scenes.
Oh, the live action commercials were so
That
good
shit
for
was
all of
lit.
those.
that
that
shit
was
so
lit.
good.
Settle down, fanboys.
Damn it, that's a
by
good
the
looking
way,
model. of
Welcome back to
Samus.
the Metroid cast.
The one,
And
the one
Samus
they,
Returns. I mean, God, that comes out in like 3 weeks, and like,
Yeah,
geez,
buddy.
well, I mean, think about it. Tomorrow there's like 4 games coming out, man.
That's
there's
crazy.
only one I
Serious.
know of.
Well, there's
Yeah.
only one. Well, I mean, you got Mario and Rabbids. I guess I should say for the other consoles because the Shantae DLC comes out tomorrow.
Well, that actually
Is that
looks
really a
cool.
new
Like,
game
that-
though?
I've been playing the Shantae DLC because I had to hook up my Wii U to play it because I got the damn backers.
that looks way better than the actual Shantae's.
Yeah, I've been meaning to tell you that you probably would really like that shit.
I'm
probably-
thinking about buying it on the Switch and then buying
So
the
is it
DLC.
new levels?
I don't
Yeah,
want
you
to
know,
buy that at game.
It's not a new level. Well, kind of. They've changed the
It's-
layout with
yeah, they re-
levels.
And she has way different abilities. Like in Pirate's Curse, if you ever played that, Shantae has the abilities of
Magic. It's magic.
what the hell is that? What's her name? Risky Boots.
Yeah, Risky Boots
And-
has like all of our
Risky
pirate
Boots.
gear.
Yeah, in Pirate's Curse, Shantae gets those abilities, and then in this DLC, you play as Risky Boots, and she has those same abilities.
I will
which
say they
love.
don't work the same way, but
Not
you
quite.
can upgrade them quicker.
Okay.
I ain't buying
So
this again.
it's so probably by like the second level, you've already upgraded at least one of your abilities. But I think you got that. And I think Resident Evil Revelations comes out on the other consoles tomorrow.
Ooh, I think you're right. Actually, it does.
And then I think there's something else, but I don't remember off the top of my head. But I thought there's like 4 games coming out on the 29th for some damn. Oh, Record. That's what I'm thinking of.
Rico's already out.
No.
No,
Definitive
man.
Edition.
Definitive edition, man.
yeah,
Okay.
and that is like
Edition.
the
It
most.
looks identical.
It's
That's
But
not
I-
a new game at all.
It's
But
garbage.
I heard it's free if you already own the game.
Exactly is why it's not
Oh,
a
is
new
it?
game.
And it's
It's a new game
looks
for those who
the
didn't buy
same, like-
Record, man.
they're
Yeah.
posted all these new HD textures and shit. It looks the same.
Yeah.
That's
I
not
mean,
what the
I'm-
game's about, Juice.
I know. But if you're gonna do a definitive edition and hype up freaking new textures, and
Have you seen Microsoft's lineup? They have to do
Yeah,
that.
that's all they got, man.
Yeah.
I think next
You
podcast.
want
we're
them to
gonna-
put on Super Lucky's tail? Sorry.
It's
all
tough
right.
though, man, because Recore's so good, and so it's like I'm torn because I want people to play it, but
I'm
that's
about to
such
say,
a
Rob,
garbage thing.
I was like,
So
Rob,
bad.
you were in the minority. I've heard a lot of negative shit about
What?
that game.
I like
Nah.
Rico.
People
I-
were running
I-
around talking
I
about that game
haven't
was
played a lot.
dog shit for some reason.
No, that's a really good game. I mean, it wasn't a full price game, but and it was a totally good game.
It's $40. It wasn't.
I
that
think
bad.
yeah.
I
I
thought
think
the
I
reviews
said
were
if
pretty good
at
for it.
20, I would have probably been okay with it after playing
thought-
just the demo.
I bet the meta is around 75 for that. I'm gonna look it up. That's my guess.
All
It
right,
should
so
be.
Only
since you
people
brought up
like it
meta,
is for fanboys.
Meta.
no, we'll wait till the end.
Oh man.
So
What?
everyone in the chat, everyone who's listening right now, and the group here, everyone say I, who expected Nintendo to pull an E3 at this year's Gamescom and go all out.
Nay.
Crickets.
Like we didn't even talk about it last week. It wasn't until Terrell's like, oh, they're gonna show new Mario Odyssey World. I'm like, where? And he's like, Gamescom. I was like, oh, that's this week or that's whenever.
Yeah.
And I wake up one morning and boom, announcements, Lollapop, DLC for our new map for Splatoon 2, live footage of Mario Odyssey with Koizumi there. I'm like, and then I found myself waking up every morning, and the first thing I did was check the live stream from Gamescom and see what they're playing. So I had since I've been on YouTube, since I've been following a little bit more closely these events, because I've always followed E3, but I never knew Gamescom existed till probably around the time I got on on YouTube in 2012. For me, this is the first time Nintendo's done anything at Gamescom other than just they're there and they got some demos of games everyone's already seen. So,
oh, you mean what Xbox did this year?
Yeah, basically. I
time, man. If there's a winner, which I didn't even go into it thinking about any of that.
No.
It was like you said, it's just like it came out of left field, and they won all these freaking awards for Mario Odyssey, and
it did, yeah.
Everybody was really excited about pretty much everything that they were showing. And
they got like 4 awards or some shit like that.
And
it won Game of Show.
Not to dismiss Gamescom, like I said, I didn't know about it, but it is technically, I think, one of the, if not the largest, just because Europe is such
it's a big deal.
So huge into gaming. And
well, I think with Gamescom, it's a huge deal like E3 is, but what it's not really known for is like huge surprises and things.
Yeah.
So which is the difference between E3? Yeah. Like E3 got the whole like identity of this is where shocking moments and big surprises and all these cool announcements come from, and usually Gamescom is almost like a PAX where it's like, here's what we know, here's some more of it, here's a couple of live streams, but it's just kind of more stuff you already know.
It's like an extension.
Like
it's exactly that, yeah.
Sony didn't really have a presence there. Am I wrong about that?
No, I haven't heard.
Right,
shit.
and then Microsoft had Disneyland.
You know what trips me out about that? Is that Microsoft doesn't show the Gamescom often anyway. So why the fuck, out of all the years, you come in with this shit?
And they got the X.
Well, because of the X, man. That's
what people hands on with. They didn't do that. So,
but you don't come to with Disneyland and Roller Coaster Tycoons and whatnot.
And then they end it with like Age of Empire exclusive to PC.
Stuff like that.
Hope you didn't buy a 1X for Age of Empire.
So
this shit was fucked up.
I was pleasantly surprised. The fact that I woke up that one morning and seen new character for ARMS, new map for Splatoon, which I didn't even know was out. I didn't seen some footage like OJ was playing it in
I was playing it a few days ago.
I was pretty preoccupied this weekend, so I didn't get a chance to play Splatoon, but I gotta say, like, I liked what they did as much as as I like the treehouse at E3. Like, the only complaint is they spent way too much time like in between. Like, it would just cut to like the schedule.
Oh yeah,
it would stay that way for like 25 minutes.
Yeah, it's like a 30-minute gap. Yeah,
which was crazy. But like, first time footage docked FIFA, which for us isn't huge, but this is Europe, so it was a pretty big deal.
The thing about the FIFA thing, because I like that, is like I thought the same thing. I was like, wait, is this the first time we're actually seeing this dog? And I saw that on YouTube. They uploaded that the same day, the entire evening. Every commercial block that was on TV, commercials for the Switch. Like one commercial that started with FIFA and then went to Splatoon and Mario Kart, like every time, and they showed like gameplay and dog, and just like you have the standard commercials, like with Splatoon people playing and dog mode and on the hand with FIFA and everything. And I was like, oh shit, I see it now for the first time here on YouTube, and it's instantly on my TV. It's crazy how they went all out with that.
Yeah, so I mean, exclusives, indie games, seeing Flippin' Deaths for the first time. What is it, 9 or 8 parchments?
Oh, 9 parchments.
9 parchments.
I'm excited for that game.
Casually. Here's it on Switch. Here's running 4 players. Looks freaking amazing. Like, beautiful 4 players. And like, this is exclusive stuff. The Mario Odyssey world, which I didn't watch because I didn't want to spoil. I saw a few seconds of it. I just really think Nintendo knows that Europe is they're all about Sony, and I think they gave it 100% effort at Gamescom, and I really be interesting to see how Europe responds, because they've never really done that as far as I know. So it felt like a big commercial for the Switch pointed directly at Europe and the UK is how it felt to me.
I did want to comment on the FIFA thing.
I was gonna say FIFA.
Well, the one thing I wanted to comment about FIFA is that I hadn't paid that much attention to it, but I said, you know what, for the fuck of it, let me go see what the PS4 and Xbox One version looks like of that game. Because people getting saying the Switch version looks pretty good, but I wanted to really look and compare it. Dude, that shit is way closer than I thought.
It looks very, very close.
It is insanely close. Like, I just thought the models were off and shit. No, that's like the PS4 version. I think it's only like lighting effects. I think
you You can see some nuances with the grass and stuff too.
Yeah,
Like,
the character models, like you said, has a lot more like light, actual real-time lighting on the characters. They're not as flat looking,
But
but
I am surprised how close those two games are.
it's very close.
It almost threw me off because I was like, well, damn.
and then like EA
Well,
was there, sitting there in between the Nintendo of Europe guys, which I think did a great job on the live streams.
I like my man Chris. My man Chris is cool.
You can tell like English isn't their first language either, but they did a really good job. Good personalities, and so they had the EA, the head of the Switch team, Switch version, and he was just like blatant about it. He's like, this is definitely the best effort, best FIFA we've ever put on a Nintendo console. Like, it's not just because it's the newest one. It's because it's, to me, it was almost like them admitting they didn't always put their best foot forward.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta say, like when I saw it, and I'm not gonna buy FIFA definitely full price or anything, and not like excited, but I gotta say I was impressed with the effort and how fluid everyone's like, man, this game, just the controls are so responsive on this game.
That's
It's
really
running at
exciting to hear,
60.
man. I'm really glad for this.
It looked really good, so I was shocked. That was one of the first things I seen actually.
I made this video called Fudge EA.
Oh, not again!
After seeing this, is
You're gonna have to unfudge him.
I might have to.
Wow, that sounds horrible.
It's gonna be tough, but man.
Well, and again, too, I know this isn't exactly related, but I think it's a pretty big deal that Fee was also announced. So we have them putting all this effort into FIFA, surprisingly.
Well, they said
then we also get another game.
They confirmed the pronunciation Faye.
It's Faye, yeah.
Oh,
Faye?
did they? Okay, I missed that. Okay, Faye. So there you go. But that's these are good signs from EA doing it before we've had to quote unquote prove ourselves by buying FIFA. They've already jumped on board with another game, so that's pretty cool, man.
Well, and
that looks like a great game too.
I was gonna say to be fair, I wasn't that surprised because it's done by the same creator as Flipping Death and Stick It to the Man, which were both on Nintendo consoles.
And if you caught the gameplay of Flipping Death, which I was going to get into next,
you're gonna say what I was just thinking. Go ahead.
He said they really wanted it on a Nintendo system.
Yeah.
So
Why?
Sweet.
Why did he?
Because of the audience, maybe.
I forget
he basically said Nintendo audience is more receptive to these types of games, more innovative types of games.
Ooh,
That's cool. Wow.
Yeah.
And
you mean those quality?
intellectuals.
You mean that quality game?
Right.
And can we just, for anyone that saw it, Flipping Death looks
I have to look that game up.
freaking
I haven't
amazing.
seen it.
Yeah.
It looks flipping amazing.
It is.
Come on, Juice.
Did
You were better than that.
The art style, the way like
The voice acting was hilarious.
yeah,
It is
the
very funny.
writing is funny.
Makes me want to go back and play Stick It to the Man.
I've
Stick It to
heard
the Man is
I
title,
totally
but
want to
haven't
do
seen it. Flipping Death.
Let me find that, and I'll.
Because it's a very similar art style, and I remember when Stick It to the Man came out. I think it was Robert who was like really. Into that game.
I was telling everyone to get that game because it's so good. Stick it to the man.
He just sounded
Fantastic.
excited to be working on the Switch and have 2 games coming, and the fact that EA backed Faye, like put a little bit more. How did he phrase it? Like this, it had a little more money behind it, so they could do a little bit more. So I don't see that Flipping Death gameplay.
Well, I will say
I'm seeing the trailer from a couple.
It's on
months
Nintendo
ago.
Everything. It's not on the official page, so I'll just go to Nintendo Everything and I'll share it for anyone that hasn't seen it.
By the
Well,
way,
with
the
games like these that are getting like backed by like big publishers like EA, I think what's happening is we're seeing all these other indie developers have seen like a lot of positive response for indie games on the Switch. And they're probably the kind of teams that are small enough to notice how vocal the Nintendo community is about, we want this game and this game and this game, and no one's giving us this game and this game and this game.
Mm-hmm.
So those teams are probably like, yeah, we understand the Nintendo audience is there for our games, and we happen to be making a game that's being published by a huge company like EA, so maybe we can start to put the worlds together. And so with these games like Faye and Flipping Death, I bet that's what's happening. Where these smaller teams are like, we know our game has an audience on the Switch. Like, let us put it on that audience, on that console. They're going to buy our game, and then we all make money, and then hooray.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, that's
I
the
think
thing is that, like, what I was going to say is that, like, I got to play Flipping Death at PAX that one time, and they had the PS4 version, but then they also had the Switch right there, and they were playing it on Switch.
Oh, they had the Switch version? I don't.
Yeah, that was
For what?
Was that in portable only, or was it on the TV?
it was portable.
Yeah, because I think this is the first time I've seen direct feed footage of Flipping Death.
Okay. Yeah,
on the Switch.
And I once I heard these guys were making a new game, and I was on it day one because, again, stick it to the man. If you never played it, it's a fantastic, hilarious game.
Yeah.
And I think Flipping Death is going to be the same, where it looks good and it's just so damn funny and it's different. And that's why I'm going to support that and Faye, both of them, because awesome company, definitely. And I can't wait. I can't wait
If you have a Wii or Wii U and you like platformers, games like this, go get the Core Gang, also made by Zoink. It's awesome.
What's
The
it called?
Core Gang?
Yes, Kore, Core Gang.
Core Gang.
Mm-hmm.
Never even heard of it.
Nope. It's one of those Wii hidden gems you could play it on your Wii U. Obviously.
Was it a WiiWare?
No, it's a physical game. It's a full retail release.
I also wanted to do and this might seem a little out of place, but hey, it relates to one of T's videos, one of his more recent videos, so it works. I want to do like a fuck you to Capcom real quick because I think I saw that recent post where they were talking about Mega Man Legacy Collection 2, and they wanted to go back and reiterate that they have no plans for putting it on Switch, and with all this talk of catering to your audience. And we're sitting over here in a time where Capcom games are selling on Nintendo consoles and fucking you just released Monster Hunter Double Cross in Japan, which seems to be getting received pretty well. I haven't heard anything negative about it. For them to come out and then and we're getting Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2, and then you're sitting in the bag, you're like you couldn't put out Legacy Collection. Like
there's something weird going on.
I don't give a shit about
that. Yeah, I don't fucking
feel
trust
like
that one. That don't make no sense to me.
I feel like there's like a deal between like Capcom and Nintendo where they have to like trade things. Like, okay, we'll only give you this game and this game, but we're not going to give you this game.
They got to barter for shit.
But yeah, they're two kids.
Literally. That's the only explanation for any of it, right? Like, it has to be something like that.
Yeah.
Because why the hell would they have such a stick up their butt about so many things that could obviously sell well on the Switch and all consoles?
After Nintendo fans saved their asses, they were in dire straits.
Oh, yeah,
they still are.
Right, dude. Like 7 years ago,
I'm just saying they were way worse off before the Monster Hunter started hitting 3DS and saved their asses. So,
yep. Yeah, they used to be all discussing that Capcom's going to shut their doors. They were like in danger of closing down.
Yeah.
And now they're not. So what the fuck?
Where's the love? Like you said, where's the love?
I think because maybe the Legacy Collection, I think on the 3DS didn't sell that well. So I guess if it doesn't sell that well on the 3DS,
I don't know. It's a good.
They're thinking the Switch probably won't work at all.
I don't believe that.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, it might be their mentality.
It
would be wrong if they thought that. But that's
the 3DS is on its last legs.
Yeah.
Also,
until Samus Returns sells like crazy.
If you could put out Street Fighter 2 and it almost sell 500,000, I think Mega Man would sell at least around the same thing.
Okay.
Oh, Mega Man would sell 1 million. I think it would sell 1 million.
I know it would. I'm just saying at the very least, it's going to sell at least 500,000. So
I won't buy it.
I'm really excited, even though I've played the game. Like, I'm really excited for Revelations. I think it's going to be a good Switch game, and it's a freaking great Resident Evil game. And I just want to hope that once that happens, like, okay, you release 2 old games, and people on Nintendo are still buying your old games. Give us some new shit now. Like, just do it already. It's so obvious that there's money to be made and people to be made happy. So like you get the benefit of like, oh, we sold our games and made a lot of money. And also gamers are happy with us and want to keep buying our stuff. Like, it's such an obvious win. And I can't understand why they don't get it.
The weirdest thing.
What's new to release though? What are they?
Well,
Marvel's Capcom. That's it. And Monster Hunter Worlds.
I hope they both flop.
Wow. I mean, Monster Hunter Worlds is a big one, yeah, and I'm excited for that game, so I hope it doesn't flop, but I'm excited for it. And then also and I've said this before, I talked about this on my video. I think this has a chance to come to the Switch. Is the Resident Evil 2 remake, which would be a new release when that comes out.
Well, yeah, that's
probably
true.
sometime next year. And I think
I bet you
they announced that like 4 or 5 years ago or something.
It was like 2 years ago. It has gone dark, and I am nervous about it. So you're not wrong there, but it's still on the slate. And I think we could probably see it show up at E3 next year and maybe release for this holiday. Although they typically, last couple of releases, have been doing Resident Evils earlier in the year, like around January. So like January, March kind of time. So they might do it later than that. But either way, if that game still comes, that would be a perfect Switch release, and I could see that going either way.
Everybody said,
Yeah, because they essentially re-released like every fucking Resident Evil game on this current generation.
Pretty
for some
much,
reason.
they have been doing that. Yeah.
was it Resident Evil
Capcom has
remake?
re-released every game they made.
Resident Evil remake, which would be a
Oh
new
yeah, because we
release.
still got the Okami thing.
I mean, for Capcom, it is.
I know.
Well, Capcom wasn't at Gamescom, so we're not. Let's stop talking about that company for now.
Really? I thought, well, I'm about to say because I thought I saw a new foot.
I like
Well, we
talking
know
about
because we
Capcom.
saw the Shenmue stuff, and then we saw.
That's not Capcom.
Nah, shit, my bad. Sorry.
Yeah,
I
what?
thought I saw a new Monster Hunter Worlds footage.
Shenmue ain't that bad.
We're talking about Nintendo at Gamescom. Let's
All right.
because that we talk about flipping.
I'm
Death
just a
and,
gamer.
and Faye looks cool, and it's definitely excited. That 9 parchments.
I'm so jazzed for that
In
game.
the stream,
Yeah,
it
I
looked
can't
good.
wait for
On the re-uploaded, it doesn't look as maybe as sharp as in the stream it did, but
Is that local only?
100%. But Frozen Byte did
Uh,
online multiplayer on the Wii U with
Right.
both their Trine games, so I wouldn't be shocked if it was online. And that's a game I didn't even know about, I'm gonna admit, but it looks like a cool co-op if it's online. Like I could see us
It
playing
reminds
that
me
game.
of like Gauntlet Legacy or something. Or
Mhm.
Gauntlet
I was
Legend.
gonna say that it's like this mix between Gauntlet and shit,
Diablo.
Diablo.
No,
Looks like Diablo to me. Yeah.
Magica. That like it's a mix
Oh,
between
yeah.
those two kind of games, and
I
honestly,
love
honestly, we
those
love
kinds of
playing that
games.
shit. Yeah,
I'm all about
And
it.
they're way
I
more
didn't-
fun when you have a bunch of people. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was
Yeah, man.
coming to the Switch, so like to me that's like a new
Yeah, that was how
announcement.
I first saw it revealed probably 4 months ago.
Yeah.
It was for a Switch trailer. I was like, oh my god, yes, this looks great.
yeah, it was about that. Yeah, it was about 4 months ago. Right? Yeah.
So let's talk about Lola Pop real quick, since
Lola Poop.
Barnes has been kind of quiet, hasn't been putting the Switch in a while for me. But what do you think of the new character? Because I think she just fits in perfectly. It gave me that Helix vibe, that comical but kind of cool at the same time kind of vibe. And I'm not a huge I don't like clowns aren't something I hate, but I don't love them either. But for me, it looks like a really cool character.
All right, let's get real deep into the clown. Can we just
Yeah, but I
discuss
say we
clowns
got
for a
into
bit?
the.
I don't have a problem with them. I'm not a fan, or
Yeah.
I don't hate them. And
They
I
all
just think
float down, yeah.
Yeah.
I think she looks great, and I'm
Fucking
excited.
Pennywise. No, I'm just playing.
Yeah, she's
Well,
a great
I will say that sadly we didn't get a literal juicy ass. That did not happen.
Wow.
not in the hammer pants.
Wow. Those are thighs. Those are chicken wings in there, damn it.
But she is very thick. And
Can we stop?
Look, seriously,
Oh my.
Stop.
my lord.
Please.
you didn't get you a piece on the cruise?
You know what they say about girls with big feet? Oh, stop.
Them the middle-aged naked ladies over there.
Hey, can we stop? Man, I'm so sad right now.
I mean, she looks cool, but I don't think I would play her just because Min Min is still the best, man.
Oh, I thought you could say Min for the win-win.
Min Min for the win.
Yeah.
Well, how boring is that? There's a new character coming out. You're not even gonna play as her.
Did he
Like,
play
No,
Max
I'll
Brass,
play her.
to be fair?
I'll play her for like a match or two, but
Well, but what if
You
she
know.
turns
And
out to
then
be
he'll
super
go-
good though?
And then he'll go on Google and look up fan art. Like
How
you.
you know she's not going to be like awesome, and then you're like, oh man.
Yeah.
but the only way she'd be awesome is
you can get dragon arms for her, I'm sure.
that's true. I mean, yeah, technically.
Like that's the reason. It's like, can I put the
You
dragon
can
arm
get the
on?
Hydra and the dragon arm.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't know.
Spamming that shit.
I
I
mean,
want to play with the fun chuck,
and
damn it.
also, I mean, come on, like, no one wants a clown. Like,
Jesus.
And we come back
We
to
racist
clowns.
against clowns?
It's all about.
I'm a
Man,
little.
this man's racist against clowns. What's going on?
I'm concerned about the stage though, because it just
It looks small.
if
Just
somebody
looking- I
wants to
just
run
watched
and
it.
hide, it looks like there's a lot of potential there because it's like a
Really?
Z
I think
shape.
it's the opposite.
I don't know about that.
There's like a
I-
corner. It looks like there's corners people can kind of.
No, it's the opposite. You can't get away. Because
All
Really?
I'm saying is it looks really small. I mean, I see the corner. I'm looking at it again. It just looks small.
I
to
see
me,
the
that's about
corner,
it.
but I think it's more of like you're gonna have to do close
I
combat.
don't think you want to corner
It's
yourself.
open enough. You won't get. You won't.
Yeah, I'm
be
about to
able
say,
hide there.
are you compared to like Min Min stage, which is a giant
Because
bowl?
I mean, just the cars in Twin Tail stage are a freaking problem because they block.
Yeah,
half the
that
punches.
drives me crazy.
I hate.
but the cars in
The cars
in the corner.
drive you crazy.
Ah,
Nice.
Wow, that was lame.
So I hadn't really. I mean, I saw like all the shots and stuff of Lollipop. Like I knew
I
who
didn't see
she
the
was, but
gameplay they did on.
She
No,
gets thick,
I'm
like,
just watching the trailer right now. Again, I was behind on so much of the Gamescom footage, but she looks great.
I think she looks pretty cool
She
watching.
looks cool, man. I'm into. I really don't like her stage. I just think it looks really boring, but I don't really care about that. I think she looks like a cool fighter. She blows her suit up all big and is all blocking and stuff.
Yeah, I think that's if you duck that
That's-
happens.
I think that's her
no,
block.
no, that's a
actually.
block. It's a block.
That's just the block. Okay.
It's
That's
a
what it
block.
looks
It's the
like.
only shield where you can actually move while shielding.
Well,
It's
snizzle
just-
dizzle. That sounds
It's
pretty
just,
cool.
you know what is that Nintendo knows that everyone loves thick thick people,
Oh
so
my
they,
God.
they're,
Stop.
they're,
You know what's
Bravado.
funny? You know what the
They're
funny
Calm
thing is?
down, bro.
Out of all this Lollipop stuff, I just find her adorable. Like she's very kooky and weird and like very like giddy and shit. And I just
Yeah.
find that adorable. Like,
Very Nintendo.
yeah, that's exactly what it is.
I'm going to be
You-
nicely controversial. I think I like her design a lot better than Min Min's, for example. She has more flair to it.
She has more personality.
Yeah, she has
Yeah.
more personality. That's fair.
Yeah.
I just
I
linked
think-
some
Because
gameplay.
Min Min's more of like a stone face.
Let me see.
that's
She
what I
really
like
turns
about
into a
it.
ball when she blocks. Like that suit inflates to like a huge ball.
No, that's her.
Yeah.
That's her
She's
whole
like a
body.
pufferfish.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
her whole body.
I like to say it's just her suit because
I know you like to say that.
kind of retarded.
Why,
What
Juice?
the hell?
What
I
is she
know-
made out of the same stuff Helix is?
Well,
No, the
Doesn't
suit
like
is her
you.
body. That's what her body.
clowns
She's
have
like,
never been known to be normal things. All right,
That's
those are
true.
that's some otherworldly shit. So I don't have any problem accepting that. That's
Remember
probably her.
Carrot Top?
We're, oh,
Yeah, there definitely isn't much going on in this stage. It's not just like
no, the stage itself I think is just supposed to be
It's
like a
just boring.
standard stage.
it's a standard.
what's
Yeah,
her
it's like
winning
it's like
animation?
oh look, there's a curve on the like it's a corner.
They
Like,
could have
that's
done some really cool stuff with the clown thing.
I think they just
Yeah,
wanted-
where's the ice
I like
cream
the
truck,
aesthetic
man?
of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
But did they say when it's coming out?
should
No,
be a
right?
circus.
A lot of people have said it's somewhere in like September. It's like mid to late September.
I want to see what her winning animation is because that's important.
I gotta tell you, man.
No, it should be. She should deflate. She should just go all skinny. Like,
No, her winning animation. She kind of acts like Helix in a way. Let me go. Let me see.
I'm
if I
watching.
can,
I'm waiting for this match to end.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, go
watching
because
the
she has like
match
a really goofy animation. It's
maybe
funny.
that's
as hell.
actually like Helix's sister.
No. Oh yeah, they did announce like which characters are used the most and which characters have the best winning
Yeah,
rates.
I didn't watch that though.
Yeah, I didn't see that either.
No, it was a Twitter picture.
Yes, I didn't check it out.
I know.
Three-
I know.
the
Twin
top-
Tail's like the top or something.
No, Twin Tail's the top wins. The wins is Twin Tail, Ribbon Girl, and then Min Min.
Yeah.
And then the most picked characters is Ninjara, Kid Cobra, and then Springman.
Well, I could have told
Really?
you Ninjara
Wow.
and King Cobra.
Ninja is the
That's
best.
all you see in ranked.
Because he's the best.
He is the best, but
He is. Once I started using
no
him-
mechanical love. What kind of shit is
No
this?
one wanted to play me anymore once I started using Ninjara because
It's because you're a piece of shit.
little
that's
winning
why.
streak.
Yeah, I started having a problem with you with the.
All of a sudden, like Twilight's nowhere to be found.
Look at- Hey man, you wanna watch? Because everyone kept saying good games afterwards. That's what happened.
We use that though in jest now. It's
We
Become
do,
a-
but it's
become a
Robert's
meme
fault.
for us.
Robert is the problem. It was his fault.
GG, man. GG.
Yeah, no, he's all right. GG, man. GG.
We haven't done it. We haven't played in a couple weekends now.
Yeah.
Somebody
Yeah.
Somebody hasn't been on their Switch for a few days. I just wanted to be stated.
Oh, exposed.
I've been actually played more Splatoon 2 offline than I have online in the last week.
Oh, that's it. Oh,
Yeah, I
Oh,
played.
that's what's going on.
Well, I'm about to get my third replica weapon unlocked, which you have to play beat every stage with that weapon.
Wait. You've done almost all that.
Well, I'm about to get with the dualies. That'll be my third one. I did the slosher and then the hero replica or the hero
Okay.
splatter shot, or
Man's a
whatever hero
madman.
shot.
Oh, you actually do. Oh, so for me, when I do it, I actually go to each stage and just replay it like 7 times in a row,
Oh, that's
or 9 times.
Must be nice to
I
have
just picked
time.
I can't do that, man.
I just picked a
They're
weapon
quick,
I
man.
wanted to
Literally,
unlock.
no joke. It's like 2 minutes each one. No joke.
It is,
Literally.
but I'd rather
Yeah, because
just,
you
I want
learn the
weapon.
layout of
It's
the
the lack
stage.
of variety that I can't. I don't have the patience for that.
No, well, that's why I don't do it very often. But
I'm only doing it to get a weapon that I want to play with in the game. I'm not going to do it for all of them just because That umbrella just sucks. I don't care. That thing sucks.
Really? Because people will say it's one of the better weapons in the game.
I like the umbrella. I haven't really used it that much yet, but I like it.
I don't know if some people figured it out, but
It's
that thing
okay.
never
I don't
gets
mind
me.
it.
You just gotta learn when to shield with it. That's what helps you out.
The thing
got
is, it's
no
a pretty
range.
good weapon, but it's very easy to kill people who use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for Mario+Rabbids, man. That's what I need.
You mean like what, 4 hours or something?
Yeah, but it's not like it unlocks in 4 hours unless I get it digitally.
Well, I know that's what I thought you were gonna do, Robert.
Let's talk about another.
Physical box.
I needed that.
Did you buy the collector's edition?
No, I didn't get a
There wasn't?
collector's edition.
Yeah, I
thought
know
there
there was one.
It comes with a big rabbit or something.
Yeah,
I
it
wanna
comes like
get
one of
one.
those giant
I
fucking
do want to get
statues.
one of those. I do want to get one of those. I want
It's
to
like
get
a
probably
big ass statue. It looks ridiculous, man.
Well,
Yeah.
let's talk about another kind of announcement happened during Gamescom. I don't know if it was specifically for Gamescom, but that was the trailer for the skins for Rocket League for the
Cool.
Switch. With Mario, Luigi, and the Samus one.
I feel like Rob was very happy at some of these skins.
Not anything major to talk about,
Some
but
people were mad in the
it looks cool. But yeah,
Yeah,
if you
people were
wanna
mad as
focus
fuck in the comments.
on how mad people got over a skin. It's not going to affect anything, and they're like, "Well, I want that on PS4." Like, why would that be on PS4?
See,
Like,
that just shows people that have no idea what the hell they're talking about.
This is ridiculous.
That's all that is, man. Idiots.
But it looks cool. Like they
The
look.
dumbest thing, that's not even the first time they do that with Rocket League. I've been playing for a very long time, and I played on the PC, and when it came to Xbox, they added like Halo cars and shit. Like, this is not the first time they did
I
that.
don't know. It's just the double standard with Nintendo.
It's weird, man. It
I thought the Samus car looked freaking sweet, though.
looked awesome.
It looks pretty freaking amazing.
The
Yeah,
cool
not
thing is,
good.
I don't know if you guys play it, but it's not just the car. Like the stream behind the car, the sound it makes, it's all part of that.
Everything around it. Cool. I'm super excited for that.
But what do you?
Robert, check the chat. I posted the collector's edition from Mario+Rabbids. Apparently, it's GameStop exclusive. That's the reason
it's
why I'm
unavailable.
going.
No, yeah. Oh, is it? I mean, there's a good chance I might be spending $100 tomorrow.
I like how that shit
Long
escalated
as
so
you're ready.
quickly.
Because that's where I'm
But-
going is GameStop. So if they got it, I guarantee. I mean, I'm gonna get it one probably anyway. So I might as well.
Yeah, it's like $100, man.
Interesting
Oh.
tidbit. 4 days ago, they did that Rocket League thing, and it already has 215,000 views, which
Cool.
it's higher than most of the other videos.
Oh yeah, were we
that
going to
come
talk
out.
about the season pass?
Well, we're not talking about Mario+Rabbids. I was going to wait to the end since it comes out tomorrow for we talk about it
Okay.
at the end.
Okay.
Next thing for me, I want to talk about my game of show at Gamescom, and I want to clarify. I didn't watch Mario Odyssey I watched like a minute of it, and I just don't want to. I don't need to see any more. I've already seen way too much of that game at E3. I actually regret watching as much as I did. I know there's a lot more to the game, but actually, just seeing that world and kind of, I have a little fear, which we can talk about later on. But let's just get on to what for me was the game of Gamescom, which was Xenoblade Chronicles 2. If you haven't seen that footage, it was freaking awesome. The way how they improved the combat system, so it's like you're no longer scrolling through the arts and they're just tied to a button, and then your blades, which are your different swords, which have characters attached to them, are your D-pad or your, depending on if you play with Joy-Cons or the Pro Controller. And then the depth of the leveling up, and then this elemental stuff. Plus, just it looks like it got a bump, like in visuals. It was in this inside of Titan, and it looks freaking amazing. Like, I think honestly, it might be my most anticipated game for the rest of the year. After seeing that.
Blasphemy.
I'm
just kidding. I'm just kidding. Trust me.
And it has as much to do with Xenoblade looking awesome and that combat system looking even more refined, and a little bit of not being wowed by the new world of Mario, the Luncheon world or whatever. Just aesthetically does nothing for me. So I think I have no doubt Mario will probably be still higher up on my game of the year list, but I'm excited. But Xenoblade, like, that stole the show from me.
Yeah, it's another thing that, again, because I'm so behind on the actual footage, I'm pulling up everything we're talking about as you bring it up. It's like, oh, okay, let me pull up this footage now and watch it while we talk about it. And it is looking really, really good. I think that it does look way more polished and finished and ready to go, which is totally opposite of what I thought when this game was first revealed. I was saying for so long, I think this game is going to get delayed. It's going to get pushed way far out. And like we talked about, I think this was before we went live. I mean, even the trailer they released is all in English. So we see more polished gameplay, and we're seeing English voice acting in the game and in the trailer they released. I mean, this game looks way primed for release really, really soon.
All the text is in English.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The most happened forever.
I never had a doubt. Well, I had way less doubt. I should say.
Oh, okay. I'm about to say, come on, TP, realistic.
I mean, there was reason to think it would get delayed.
The reason why is because they didn't have to announce this game coming out this year. They did it pretty early on. That's what made me think, okay, because there's plenty of games for Switch, that's going to be coming out this fall and whatnot, and holiday. So they didn't have to, jump the gun and say, yeah, this is coming out this year, 4 or 5 months ago, whatever it is.
Sure.
But this is
it's a good point. I think for me, I took it as a combination of, well, they delayed Xenoblade Chronicles X like 4 times, and we saw that year after year. And we saw so many delays
on the
with
Wii
Zelda.
Useless.
Well, they didn't really. They never said 2014.
Wow.
The first time we got a year, it was
2020.
2015. A lot of people were hoping it'd be 2014, but they never said.
Okay, that's good to know.
In the U.S., it got delayed. Well, no, it actually came out in 2015.
Yeah, it came out in
December 2015.
Yeah, it came out the end of the year.
It still was a game that we
it came
saw
out in like
forever.
April in Japan.
But the point is, we saw X
way
at E3
2013.
It was E3 just before we ever heard English and saw English text was that E3 2015. Before the game came out, I was like, oh, by the way, we got your first time ever hearing the English voice acting. Like, that's how far behind they were with the localization. This 52-minute demo, everything was in English, all the dialogue, all the text that we saw. Obviously, there's probably a lot of side quests and stuff with cuts,
I think they're doing more coinciding localization, because even Fire Emblem, the new Fire Emblem demo was all in English instead of the weird half Japanese that was going on in the E3. I did want to say one thing about Xenoblade. I noticed they improved. If anyone remembers in the E3 demo, when you see them walking like around the grass, you could tell the graphics were loading in the grass as they were walking, so you could see it pop in like a few feet in front of you. I don't know if it's just because of the different area, but I don't notice that at all anymore in the Gamescom build. And I just thought that was really cool.
And I think what got me the most excited was the world there, this area. It's inside of Titan apparently, and there's civilization and stuff inside. It reminds me of X from a visual standpoint. That's what got me.
Oh yeah,
I think that's what got me the
like
most excited.
X,
This looks like Noctum, I think, a little bit.
Yeah, it's just it's just not the grassy setting.
I will say, and I'm not too terribly worried about this, but I'm looking a little bit farther through the video. I'm kind of scrubbing through it. It does look like there are parts where the frame rate isn't 100%. Did you guys notice that?
Yeah, I noticed that too.
It's chugging in some spots here.
Yeah, I was watching it mostly on the live stream.
I think it's like 30 frames and it's dropping a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like that here and there. I mean, it still looks like really great, and it could have been the stream. I'm not. It's probably.
And think about it. This one doesn't have a release date.
This build as well. I mean,
this is a demo build.
I will say though,
the environments are amazing.
Dude, the water effects look fucking great.
The water is good.
That you're seeing stutter when they're like panning the camera, because I thought it would look really fast and fluid when they're panning the camera.
That's where
it seems to go in and out.
Yeah, it's not consistent.
There are some parts where it's right. What I'm looking at right now is actually perfect. It looks gorgeous and like no problems, and then it'll start to stutter for a minute. So
yeah,
it is what it is. I'm not too worried about it either way. It's a huge epic game. It has like really great visual style.
You'll be able to play this on the portable. Like,
oh my gosh,
I'll be able to play this
totally.
Like it's like
I can deal. I'm just pointing it out. But I can deal.
Yeah, I think the only thing I'm not super happy about is they took away the whole where your position is behind the enemy.
They did it purposely, though.
I know it did it purposely, but I didn't necessarily make it a good design choice. I wanted, to me, that was the easy way to figure out where you were with the enemy, because the game, you might be kind of behind the enemy, and the game will register it as like the side
hit.
That's true, but they said
the
reason is that people were just staring at all the text and stuff, and not a lot of people were actually watching their characters. And
well, that's true.
And they're just reading the game, as they're playing. And that they said that's why they took off the if this enemy is
wanted-
going to attack
wanted-
you, if it sees you, like the little icons, because they want you to learn and have to remember, hey, I know that enemy. I'll learn from your mistakes of, hey, that's going to attack me if I get close.
Right.
Or this one's docile. Like they want you to know that instead of just relying on the icon, which I think is a cool choice.
Well, if there's not 10 billion creatures in the game.
Well, we both know there still are.
Yeah, of course.
And then on top of that, they still have the whole level 80s in the damn same area as the level 20s. And shit.
Right.
So it's like, oh, here's your heart. We're gonna steal it from you because you're about to have the deck.
In the beginning, though, that made it so tense in X trying to navigate and get by to get by the higher enemies because you know where you had to go or wanted to go, and just like, oh, why is there a level 80 walking around here? Like,
well, I mean, they did that for a while. I mean, X was still tense. Remember, like the max level you could get it with 60, even though enemies could get all the way up to like 80 and shit.
Right.
They intentionally made it where everything would still be somewhat tense, even though you feel a little bit more brave when you're in the 40s and 50s and stuff.
but it just, I mean, you're right. The water reflection on the water.
That shit looks so good. And they
Looks good.
fixed it because the lighting effect. So, like when your sword glows, you can actually see the reflection in the water.
Yeah,
God.
Very Breath of
Yeah,
the Wild-
the
Breath of the
environment
Wild is
and
beautiful.
the engine looks great. It really
yeah,
does look great.
it's when I saw this type of environment, that's when I got really excited, and I like listened to them detail all the different added depth to the arts and stuff, and like you can chain like an element. There's like a chain system, like you use a fire elemental, and then follow that with like ice or whatever, rock or something, and then those compound like when you're taking on tough enemies, and you can like combo those. It's just like so much going on. Like you level up the arts, like when they in X you could power them up twofold, when it has a little green going around the circle. Then if you let it go again and do it to a second time. Well, this one has like 4 times if you just don't use that art and let it generate and power up, and then it goes up to like 4 times.
Yeah, trips me out because this is the early levels of the game. Like this isn't like late game. This is like maybe the second area of the game. And you're like, what? Wow.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna crash this party a little bit. Every new footage, every new trailer we see of this game, I'm getting less and less hyped for it. There's a lot of reasons. Like I said, for one, I'm still playing the first one.
I was gonna say, where are you?
I'm also a huge Tales of fan, and I feel the style of the characters is not what I like in Xenoblade. I like a bit more realistic style. When you saw the very first trailer from X, it looked amazing. You had this sense of skill, and the more you saw, the skills got bigger. Massive enemies, massive mechs, and every time I see this game, you see it far away from up like a little Diablo thingy. You don't see a lot of the skill.
Well,
like you don't get a lot of the characters.
Yeah,
and I honestly mean this. So far, I still feel X looks better from what I've seen graphically. I need a real trailer that showcases, that sells me on this game, because I don't care about this game the way it is now.
Damn.
It is a weird mix of
That's fair.
the truly anime characters. And
I think it's leaning towards more the original Xenoblade than it is X. I think
Yeah.
that's the thing.
I agree.
It's more
To
Xenoblade.
me, it reminds me way more of the original Xenoblade than it does X.
I agree.
Yeah, the Xenoblade Chronicles X, I think it, like you said, it has the more quote unquote realistic style. It's technology based, there's machines and all that kind of stuff, and this is more where it's more like the original Xenoblade Chronicles, where it doesn't have
It's a little bit more mystical.
so much of that. Yeah, it's more fantasy stuff than
Mm-hmm.
that technical stuff that you got next. So
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, that's why it's called Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I think, for
right.
that reason. So I think it's trying to be, in some way, a sequel to the first game, and like story-wise and time-wise, we don't know how it'll relate. I can't imagine we'll see Shulk and Ryan and everyone come back, but I'll freak out if that happens.
But even then, for example, like I've never played the original yet. I've never played the original yet. But when I saw the trailer from the original, I was like, holy shit, I have to play this game. That trailer is amazing. You get the sense of skill, these characters, the acting, the story. It's amazing. This game isn't selling me in the trailers and the gameplay so far.
That's fair. I see the differences that exist. So and like the way you talked about comparing it to X, I can see why you might feel less excited for it. I hope it turns out to be awesome. So then
we haven't seen like the vistas of like the main area in X, just those way up top, like I don't know what you want to call them. They're cliffs, but they're like up high. You know, someday you're gonna be able to get up there, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That really made me want to get a Skell and be able to fly up there. You know,
Yeah, the floating mountains and all that kind of
I'm not
stuff.
really seeing anything like that so far in this game, but they said they were definitely not showing any kind of story stuff and keeping a lot of the game purposely not showing it. So it'll be interesting to see. I don't love the anime art style as that much, but I don't hate it. But I don't think X's character models look that great. Like the facial
No,
stuff.
I'm about to say
No.
X's character models weren't great.
Yeah.
Nope.
But,
X's character models suffered a lot because they didn't emote for shit.
Some of them were downright ugly.
Yeah, but so like the
some
one
were
thing,
pretty fugly.
the one thing I enjoy about at least Xenoblade Chronicles 2 so far is that the characters, you can tell when the characters are showing emotion in their faces.
Yeah.
Like, because that would. Also, I'm looking at the footage. There's a glitch that happens. I noticed that I don't think they bring up in the footage when they're fighting an enemy. The number 54 for damage gets stuck on the screen for like a good 2 minutes after the fight's over.
Oh really?
Yeah, I think it's what is that, like 40 something minutes into it? They fight like this big enemy, and then like the battle's over, and then but it still says 54 for damage, and it's like slightly faded out. So it's definitely still demo build. And it's not done yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, it's like, some of those, Xenoblade X characters are looking like Ryu and then Shenmue 3.
Actually, that's a pretty good. Which makes me mad because some of the side story stuff for them was really good.
Yeah, it was some good side stories in there. Yeah.
Like I feel like that was the thing that kind of X sold me with, is they had really good side stories. The main story just wasn't as interesting as it needed to be. And then
that's what the first game had, I think.
Yeah, I think because a lot of people said Xenoblade Chronicles X is better at gameplay wise, but wasn't as good like story wise.
Mm-hmm.
Which is part of the reason why people love Xenoblade Chronicles to begin with.
Right.
Yeah. X's gameplay was definitely better, and the exploration aspect was far superior, I thought.
Yeah, most people agree with that part.
It's true. I still vastly prefer the first game, but that X did a lot of that stuff better for sure.
It's a sequel. It's a game that came after the original. So hopefully there's things about it that progress. And
all right, so I think the last game we'll talk about from Gamescom is the SteamWorld Dig 2 demo, because that dude's a smart ass, like cocky.
Dude, I fucking love that man. I love him.
Yeah, it was. Some people probably wouldn't like his sense of humor, but I liked it, and it's a cool. Like, I never played the original. I didn't play Heist, but he seems very excited about this one and about having a game on the Switch. Another indie developer seems really excited, and I think this one's coming out pretty soon, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I mean, we have that Nindy Direct in like 2 days.
Yeah. But Terrell, you want to talk about, because you were the one that kind of
it geeked me out because I could see. Almost all of their projects have started on Nintendo consoles. Like I think the original SteamWorld Dig started on the 3DS and then got ported to the Wii U later. They've been the main ones talking about how easy it is to work with Nintendo and how easy the Switch is to develop for and all that kind of stuff. They've been kind of one of the main Nindies champions, even back in the Wii U days. So I really appreciate it. And they apparently also worked on a DSi game, I believe. I think that was their first game, but I forget what it's called. I think it was a tower defense game. That's what it was.
That's what he said, yeah.
Yeah, it was a tower defense game. Because SteamWorld Dig 2 is essentially just Metroidvania. Like that's literally what it is. Although I would say this one's more Metroid than like Metroidvania, if anything. Like based off the footage we saw, it's really you run around, you grab a power up, and now you have more areas to explore, and it kind of just increases in scale from that. On top of the whole,
what is the Vania in Metroidvania?
Castlevania.
No, I know that. Come on. Yeah, I'm asking because I've always wondered
from a gameplay perspective.
What exactly?
It's because it's the same, I think. Just because both games are similar, so that it gives you a comparison.
What Metroid came out first, so I'm just trying to.
I think the reason why they call it Metroidvania is because Castlevania pretty much took on Metroid style.
It's
Well, that's
exactly.
kind
I
of
think
lame, though, isn't it?
it is lame, but I think it's
Yeah,
exactly
it's
a combination
lame.
of two things. I think it is that Castlevania started to adopt it and do it really well, to be fair.
Yeah,
And
it wasn't like
Castlevania-
they just copied and pasted. They added to
Did they
it.
bring
They
in
definitely
a
did
new-
some
been
great.
a
I mean,
Castlevania
Symphony of the Night absolutely lives up to its legacy. That's an incredible game. And also, like the Castlevania games, the 2D ones really implement story pretty well, and the Metroid 2D games never really typically did that. Fusion did okay with it, and so I think that when I think of a Metroidvania game, I think of one that does all those things together.
Well,
in one
SteamWorld Dig isn't
package.
really about story, so
It doesn't look like I'm watching it here, and it doesn't look like it.
it's not. I played and destroyed the first one. I love that game.
Yeah,
on,
it looks
3DS.
freaking awesome. Knowing it's like a Metroidvania game, like I'm in.
Yeah, it's a very fun game.
Looks
I don't
good.
have any money for all these fucking games. Man.
I agree with you though. I'm
Where are
gonna,
the free games?
I think we should just give the credit to the original one. It's a
I wanted to
Metroid,
do a
like
video
it's a
on it,
Metroid.
but I know people will probably be salty about it, but because I was like, I've been thinking for a while about what is the
I've never
Vania
thought
part
about
of
that.
Metroidvania.
That's got to be a teed off video.
I'm not gonna be angry about it. I just want to ask people.
But he is angry
It's
about
you
it.
know it's a good question, and like at the end of the day, it's probably better to just call them Metroid style. But it's been so long. It was '97 and Symphony of the Night, which started it as a Metroidvania. Like it's been the gameplay has been associated with Castlevania, I think, long enough, and they've made enough great games in that style that even me as a Metroid fan, I don't mind the Castlevania thrown in there.
I just
Like,
think that maybe it's
it
because they
works.
came out so close. You know, even though Metroid
it was a couple years after
I don't even
Super
think it was
Metroid.
close. I think literally it was just the fact that it came out and adopted the same style. I think.
No,
that's
yeah,
what
it came.
Yeah.
I think because we're talking about the NES era here, so I think that people just kind of blended it together. You know, Metroid and Castlevania together, and so from then on, it was Metroidvania. That's
Well,
my
I
guess.
think it really started with Symphony of the Night, which was '97. That's when it was like because think of the Castlevania trilogy
Yeah, the
on the
ones
NES,
before.
like they weren't very Metroid-like other than being side scrollers, but
Well,
everything was a side
Castlevania
scroller.
2 was very backtracky.
It was actually. You have a good point. Castlevania 2 definitely was that game.
Yeah.
But it really started with Symphony of the Night, and then all those really great Game Boy and DS games that were like straight up Metroid Castlevania games. So I think it kind of started around then.
Yeah, this is something that's been.
It's a good question. Like, it's kind of weird. It's way more Metroid than Castlevania, but we just sort of allow it nowadays.
Yeah, we just
And it's gonna be weird because we're getting Metroid on the 3DS.
That's going to be the best Metroidvania game ever.
I wonder if that's going to hurt a game like SteamWorld Dig too, coming out in the same month. If I believe it's come out the same month.
How much do you guys do we know how much SteamWorld's going to be? Like what the price is?
I'm
usually?
thinking 20. That's what they usually.
Yeah, it was like
$20.
20.
Because if Samus Returns wasn't coming out, I'd guarantee you I'd buy this day one and get
If that much. SteamWorld Dig on 3DS was like $15, so I don't know. If
See, I feel like, and I'll say this as someone who has never played and really paid attention to these games, I've known about how great SteamWorld is for so long. I feel like the name's going to probably carry it pretty well, even with Metroid coming out. I feel like people are going to be like really excited for it because I know these games have like, or the first game is a really like strong legacy. People freaking love it. I've always heard about it, even though I've never played it.
I love SteamWorld.
Yeah, I've known it's a great game for a long time. I bet people will buy it. I hope. I want it to be supported, you know?
Yeah.
So I mean, it looks cool. And another game, I don't think have we seen this? Have they had this game at any other of the E3 or anything?
They had PAX. PAX.
PAX. It was at PAX.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it a Switch exclusive? Do you guys
I don't think
For
anymore.
now.
Is
I think it's definitely coming to Switch first.
Yeah, I think it's Switch
That's
first.
cool.
I think that's what it is.
The
That's another
SteamWorld
thing.
Dig, you mean?
Metroid.
No, I thought you're talking about SteamWorld Dig 2,
Samus
right?
Returns is on
Yeah.
3DS.
No, I meant Dig 2.
Yeah,
I
we're
was
talking
asking
about-
you.
Yeah, no, but it
Yeah,
Dig 2, I
Dig-
think it was in the original Switch trailer already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's coming to Switch first, but I think it's getting ported to other consoles later.
Yeah.
It's like a time exclusive because because I think they went back and reported like the other SteamWorld games to other consoles, but I think their whole thing is to have it on Nintendo first.
They know where their audience is.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. I mean, there's just so many games with the indies and the retail releases of different types. There's just too much coming out right now. Like I'm not
It
even.
really is.
Shannon
I'm-
comes out and announces like that Rocket.
It's crazy because I'm like still. I'm halfway through my second playthrough of Zelda and I'm really into it again. But then I'm like, I haven't barely touched Splatoon in a while, and it's Arm's getting a new character. Now we're getting
Dude, there's a lot of
Slow
games
the
out
fuck
there.
down.
tomorrow?
It's
Dude,
like
there's a lot
we're
of
on
games
the
I'm buying from not my Switch too, so I'm like
Also,
super like.
I'm on Twitter. Apparently, like a lot of people who ordered Rabbids from Amazon got the game early.
What?
Well, that's a first.
See, I
Yeah.
just decided
That
to
didn't
order.
happen to me.
A lot of people were talking about having the game. Even in our chat, I saw it earlier. People were talking about, it's like, oh yeah, I already got the game, and I was like, what?
Amazon
I'm
told me
guessing T,
Thursday.
you don't
so-
got it,
No,
right?
I ain't got that shit.
I ordered it from Best Buy. Damn it!
Whoa.
Voice
The first
explosion.
That
And
Best
the only
Buy
one is
shit,
just
man. Best Buy Power.
Calm
So,
down.
It was overdue,
It's
man. It was
That's the first
overdue.
one.
No, your mic
Let's
freaked out, though,
let's
dude.
just
It was
wrap
weird.
up the Gamescom stuff because, like I said,
Yeah.
I didn't know it was coming. I didn't know it was this week or last week.
You weren't ready. You weren't ready.
And I was not expecting Nintendo to like bring it, and it was a great show. And I watched most of this. I'd get to work at like lunch, and I'd just rewind the live stream and watch it. And so I seen all of it and didn't really have to watch when they re-uploaded it. But I was surprised at how entertaining it was and how much like stuff I was seeing running on the Switch for the first time, direct feed. Even though they kind of minimize, it's not full screen. They always have it with where you can see.
Why
the
did
guy.
they do that? Why did they do that?
I know, like at least in the Treehouse, every once in a while they go full screen with it. But to me, it looked like Nintendo was really again confident, like we already know. But they're giving it all with Europe. They had commercials that they kind of debuted. Some European, like Retro Death said, there's a lot of FIFA in it and a lot of other stuff. A lot of commercials hit for Europe, like because you can tell they have the different slogan in Europe. It's to play with anybody at any time, anywhere, whatever.
You got guys shitting on toilets.
Yeah, like
Not in them, on them.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Don't lift the lid, man. That's not how we do in the UK.
So you could tell like this was a big advertisement effort for them. The whole Gamescom felt like they were trying to sell the Switch to the European market. So that's how it felt as for me watching it. So, but I was really pleasantly surprised, and thought it was as good. For me, it was as good as E3, other than there wasn't anything. There wasn't like the Metroid announcement, like
Yeah,
just
no Metroid,
I'm
no
not talking
win.
about the I was just talking about the actual live stuff, not the spotlight.
The presentations and all
Yeah,
that.
but
Yeah.
the actual live stuff to me was just as good as E3 and had some pretty cool stuff. So I was like there's no competition on the winning and losing because there's no one else was really there.
Yeah. It was
Mhm.
nice to see Nintendo take a strong jump, man. Like again, I wasn't able to really follow and watch like video stuff as it came out throughout the week, but every time I was checking Twitter and just looking at random news throughout the days, like there was always some new stuff about Nintendo and like people talking about it, and the freaking Faye was announced and the Rocket League stuff, and I was just like, wow, man, like there's just like Nintendo news every day for like 4 or 5 days straight right now. It's really cool. So it was nice to see.
They're not letting go, like with the marketing and everything. They're not slowing down.
Yeah.
It's
Which
good.
is smart.
Hopefully it continues in 2018. Like I think if they don't slow down in 2018, then we know they're really in it for the long haul. I'm a little worried we might see like a dip in some stuff for a while, and then maybe it would pick back up in 2019.
I don't know. I think they got some pretty big hitters in 2018.
I mean, I think so too, but you just never know. Like, so you gotta, Nintendo, they can be shaky sometimes with that stuff. So I just hope that they hit it hard and they just stay with it. And like, for example, like let's say my theory gets proved wrong and Metroid Prime does come out next year, or even like Pokemon or whatever, that'll show that they're really in it. If one of those games is actually going to make it out in 2018, then just forget about it. Like they really have their foot on the gas the whole time. So
I really don't see either of them dropping in 2018.
me neither. I mean, you know me, I definitely don't think that, but we could be wrong. And then maybe Nintendo's like, boom, bitches, here's Metroid and Pokemon in the same day.
Well, here's my question:
Pokemon's here.
which one do you think would come out first?
Metroid.
I actually do think Metroid would come
they
out
get
first.
Pokemon's out. There's a Pokemon game out every year, whether it's a
Yeah, I would think
whole
it
new title or not. They're gonna have Pokemon.
You think? I mean, my money's on Metroid first, but again,
That's
I
an
don't.
annual franchise.
I think
Yeah.
Metroid
doesn't need to be.
It
I
is.
think
Though.
Metroid gameplay-wise is easier to develop. I think for the first time, Game Freak working on a console version of Pokemon with everything they have to put in there, with everything they have to render, everything they have
Yeah.
to program, gameplay-wise, the RPG, how big it should be.
Yeah,
I think
I
Metroid,
agree.
even though I think it's going to look amazing, gameplay-wise, it's going to be a lot simpler to develop.
Yep, I totally agree. Gameplay, and I mean, even if they rebuild the engine, I still think they're going to be working off of an engine that's already been used in 3 games. Whereas we don't know how a console next-gen Pokemon game is going to look and play. They might make a brand new engine. I mean, everything retro, I think you said, is totally right. And with Metroid, they had a logo ready for us. They didn't even have a logo for Pokemon.
Yeah.
They just had a guy at a desk.
That is true.
So
I'm done with everything.
I'm not saying anything's impossible, but my money's on Metroid first. So that's all.
Anybody else got any thoughts on Gamescom before we'll start talking about Mario and Rabbids? I guess. Okay. But for anyone that
what's that outside in here?
For people that missed,
I'll let you have Robert screaming.
Gamescom stuff. I linked a lot of it in the live chat, but you guys should definitely check out Nintendo Everything and Nintendo UK's YouTube channel because they did have some pretty cool stuff there, and it's very entertaining to watch. I felt, live gameplay. It's just for me. I just like the Treehouse. I love watching people talk about their game while someone's playing it, and seeing them die and it's real. Like I just can't get into the on stage stuff at E3 where it's scripted and you can't even believe, you don't even know if the person standing there is actually playing the game. Like I just don't like that. I like knowing that the person's playing it, and especially if it's the developer talking and he's super excited about it. It just, for me, it just takes it to another level. So, but yeah, tomorrow we got another freaking exclusive or big Switch game coming out, getting really good reviews. It's at an 85 on Metacritic with like 47 reviews, I think. And that's Mario+Rabbids, the game. Never thought in a million years I'd have any interest in, and I'm definitely.
We all felt that way, man. We all were suckers.
Now we eating crow like a mother.
So, Rob, you picking it up for sure day one, or?
Yeah, I actually made the decision today. I was mostly sure I was gonna pick it up day one or right away, because I decided at E3 I was like, yeah, it looks good. Okay, I was wrong. It looks good, and I'm excited for it. But I still was like, it's so weird, and I don't love the Rabbids. I don't hate them like some people do, but I don't love them either. So I was like, I should probably be smart with this one, and let's just see how it comes out. And then honestly, it's one of those few times where all the reviews, I was like, yep, it seems like this game delivered. So I purchased it on Amazon this morning, and it's not going to be delivered tomorrow, unfortunately, because I bought it only today. So I think they said my expected date is on the 31st, which might be Thursday, the same day.
Thursday, just like mine, yes.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So
yes.
So I did decide today that I got to get it. So, and I'm really excited, man. I've only heard good things, man. I'm really pumped for it.
Yeah, from people who don't even like this style of game.
Yeah, that's true. It's like it's that
praise you can
Nintendo
get.
magic where they can take something like weird that shouldn't work and then they just make it work. Like, God damn it, that's just what they do.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna mention something casually I found out today because someone posted. I think you guys have seen it in the trailers. Is that ghost rabbit that's like singing opera and shit?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Apparently, when the beginning of that boss fight is like a giant diss track to Mario, and it is the funniest shit.
Really?
It's like a full-on song. He sings a full-on song shitting on Mario. It is the funniest thing. I don't want to spoil it, but it is the funniest.
I was a little bummed. I watched Just Jess did a little gameplay, and she showed the whole opening cinematic, and it's like, it's not what you expect.
I didn't watch it.
Damn it, I wish he would have said
seen it.
spoiler.
It's such a weird setup.
It is a
Cool,
weird
I didn't
setup.
watch it.
But it's really well animated. I'll give it that. It looks really
It
good.
is. Like, I would be happy if a Mario animated movie looked just the same level as that, because it looks that good.
Nice.
But Bob Hoskins has to do the voice of Mario.
When he did?
And John Leguizamo, of course, is Luigi.
Well,
Mario,
speaking of
Mario,
voice-
and Luigi Mario.
I was
speaking
like,
of the
Bob
voice
Hopkins is
actors-
dead, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
They
is
could
it-
No, wait,
revive him.
no. You're thinking Dennis Hopper died, who played Koopa.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah, Bob Hoskins.
But the voice of Mario was there, Charles
Martinet.
Martinet.
He was at a lot of the Gamescom. He was like there while they were playing some of the games and giving his comments and stuff. It was pretty cool. So, but
I
anyway,
like to imagine that guy can't talk normal anymore, and like even when he's at home with his wife, would you pass me the Lucky Charms?
What do you? He seems like a cool. He embraces it. Like he totally embraces
yeah.
Oh
it.
yeah, he's full on goofy with that shit.
I met the guy at E3 like way back in the day. He's a really cool guy.
I saw him at E3. I did.
Oh yeah.
He looks cool.
Let's just hope that Tony's wrong and Sony has nothing to do with the Super Mario movie because most of their movies lately have just sucked and bombed.
Yeah, man.
I don't want to talk about it. That scares me.
I hope
from what I remember, the first movie from Nintendo was supposed to be the Pokemon Detective Pikachu,
which is Lionsgate.
And I'm very concerned about that being a thing in the first place.
Like, why did you pick that of all the things?
So rich.
Pokemon Go, man.
On top of the fact that it doesn't exist in the U.S., no one knows about it. It's not officially. Detective Pikachu hasn't even been localized yet. Why the fuck is that even?
It never will.
Well, then why the fuck is that a movie?
Well, I guess because Pikachu's in the title. That's easy.
It's all it takes, man.
Hashtag Pikachu.
Let's stay on topic here because Rob's got to bounce a little bit. So Mario+Rabbids, T and I were definitely and Rob probably the most against the idea initially, and here we are.
Sellouts, man. We're sellouts.
And Retro Death as well, but the gameplay looks great, and the reviews I listened to, I was already getting the game, but it was just interesting to hear Andre from Game Explain say he doesn't like those types of games, but he really got into like the strategy and planning out his moves, and the humor looks great, and the art direction and
the art direction, like the varied environments, has me really excited, and I'll freely admit it's one of the few Nintendo games. If the reviews were like below a 70, maybe like a 7 or below, I probably wouldn't have bought it. Whereas most of the
Ubisoft game.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a Ubisoft game, but still, I probably still would have been like any other game like this. I would have been pretty much sold no matter what. But this one, I would have made that decision not to buy it.
Yeah,
but it's turned out to be good, like we wanted it to be. So it's awesome.
Man, you Nintendo fan bitches to play anything with Mario on the title.
It's true.
True that.
Super Mario Spaghetti Shop.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. That stereotype.
It's funny because
I'm offended.
I was just gonna say, for me, like with Xenoblade, I was getting less and less interested, and I hated the idea of Mario+Rabbids. When the first trailer launched, I still hated it, and with everything they're releasing, I can't. By now, I almost can't wait to play it, and I'm actually sacrificing almost Fire Emblem Warriors to get this because my fiance really wants it, and now I see this gameplay, I see how fluid and beautiful it looks, and I almost can't wait to play it right now.
Come on, Retro. It's okay.
It's okay to believe.
Robert's like, come to the dark side.
Yeah.
I can't believe I caught myself.
You got Robert over there wearing the dark hood and shit.
I only have one issue with the game myself, and that is seriously my only complaint. No, not even that. I feel there's not enough characters in there. Like they use 4 Mario characters, and I feel they could have doubled that roster easily, at least, because I know some of you guys really like Waluigi.
It's gonna be DLC, man.
Well, yeah, let's talk about
we got that season pass.
A Mario game without Waluigi is a crime against humanity, so we have that problem already. That's working against it. So hopefully the season pass will bring in Waluigi.
I never like Waluigi, though.
Waluigi is the king.
I want some Daisy representation, please.
The laziest character name of all time.
Where's Rosalina?
Yeah, Rosalina. I like Rosalina.
This man, I say, just became like a Rosalina ass man.
Come on, Rosalina.
Because of Mario Kart 8.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. The ass man.
They should have Rosalina in a jumpsuit all the time.
Y'all fucking weak. What that
let's just dive in, because for me the season pass is, I made a
irrelevant
with Zelda. I was like, I thought they announced it just a little bit too early. With this, what is it? It was less than a week before the game.
It's like a week beforehand, yeah.
And it's still kind of the same thing, but I kind of got over the Zelda. I made that video back when it was first announced. I just thought it was a little too early. And with this one, I would say the same, except for it's a third party, and I think they want people to know, like, hey, we're going to support this game past, because Nintendo fans are a little wary of third party. Well,
that and the story DLC doesn't come out until next year, so that tells me it's not like already in the game.
Yeah, in that part. But with Zelda, like, I trust Nintendo when they're with their DLC, so I didn't feel like. But for some people, they probably did need to, like, hey, we're going to support this game. It's not just.
Yeah, well, and fans
Zelda before, so that's why I said that's why Nintendo did it, because they've never supported Zelda with DLC before. Like
Yeah, that's true.
this is their first time, so they're letting you know this is going to be a different situation, guys.
Yeah, they haven't even made a Zelda game in the DLC era until this. I mean, 2011 for Skyward. Well, Breath or not Breath. What's the 3DS one? What am I thinking? A Link Between Worlds. That one, but that's different because it's a 3DS game, I think. So, yeah, they hadn't really had an opportunity until Breath of the Wild to kind of do that with one of their big franchises. And, you know, the Fire Emblem thing, I guess, is a little bit sticky because they had started to do that as well.
Yeah, but for Fire Emblem Warriors, they haven't said anything about DLC.
No, I'm surprised.
No, but it's coming, man.
You knew that shit coming.
I know people are like, "Hey, man, you want that Ike? $5.99."
It's gonna be.
When's the game coming out? When is the game coming out?
What game?
October 20th.
October 20th. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they just wait until a little closer.
That's
Well,
true.
man, we still need a Tharja trailer. We still need some more waifus because we're not having this shit.
So how many characters are confirmed? And
18, I think. Isn't that right?
Well, we don't know his exact number.
have they been shown? That we know about?
Ryoma, Xander, Camilla, Leo, Cordelia, Lissa, Crom, Lucina, Robin, Corrin, about 12 or 13.
But does the female version of Robin count as a separate character?
We don't know because we haven't seen that version as a separate character yet. We've only
they still got quite a few characters, I think, left to.
Yeah, the problem is that Fate's fucked itself because almost all the major characters are like siblings and shit. So it's like, well, you can't have the sister without the brother, and you're just like, bitch. There's like 17 other characters you're gonna pick from. Nah, come on, no one knows about them. We need Camilla. That's all we need. Sorry, it's a lot of Fire Emblem fans.
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah. Getting back to the Mario and Rabbids season pass, like I don't plan on getting it unless the game is that good. And when
not yet.
When that DLC comes out in 2018, if it looks intriguing, I guess I'm not against it at this point. But none of the reviewers like, oh, this game's so short, it feels incomplete. So I'm just like, all right, that's all I really needed to hear about to not be mad.
That probably would have been reflected in the
so wait and see, pretty much.
Yeah, but I know some people were a little worried that they're announcing a season pass, but they kind of detailed it, learning from what was Nintendo did with Zelda. Like, here, we're going to tell you what it is, and you get something day one, some some weapons, and then you get this, and then in 2018 you get some story stuff. So it seems pretty harmless, and as far as everything we've heard, the game feels and is a complete game at this point. So I don't think there's much to be concerned about. I'm just actually really excited to play it, and it's one of those games where you watch somebody play it and you're like, yeah, that's cool, but I really can't wait till I can put my strategies into play and try it for myself. So that for me, that's what I'm really most excited about.
I think there's also, we can't deny just the Switch factor. I mean, honestly, just the fact that I can play it on my Switch, on my couch, in my hand, like,
yeah.
I mean, that the Switch factor in and of itself, I think, is something that factors into any game purchase I make on it now. And it's like, well, in and of itself, it might be an okay game, but I can play it on my Switch and just take it off my dock and just go. And so it's like this kind of game in portable gets me excited also.
I really wish this game had touch controls, though. Because I feel like a tactical game, it makes the most sense. How is it? Because how is it the fucking Sonic Mania? I didn't even realize this until recently. Sonic Mania has touch. You can actually touch.
Does it?
Screen. Yeah, you can touch the screen.
You can touch the menus.
You can touch
menus.
You can touch the menus and shit, but you can't do that in like other high-profile Nintendo games. And
I was really excited when the Rayman demo came out, and I was able to use the touchscreen for the gameplay. I was like, nice.
Yeah,
that was such a good surprise because I was worried about that.
I remember thinking how weird that was, not being able to use touchscreen on Smash Brothers. After the 3DS version, when you could use it.
Because it's asking for it and you can't do it.
Right.
It's like putting a stripper behind a glass wall. It fucking sucks.
Now, what if...
I mean,
it'd be even worse behind a wall you couldn't see through, though.
That's why I said glass wall, Juice.
Glass you can see through.
You guys are on the same page here.
How about a work glass wall?
Can we stop?
I think the reason was they figured that most people weren't going to be using the gamepad to play the Smash, so maybe that's why.
Yeah,
most people use the controller or obviously the GameCube controller. So maybe that's why they decided not to do it.
I guess. Oh,
Yeah, still lazy.
I
Yeah.
will say the best thing about Mario+Rabbids has been the cutscenes I've seen so far. Because someone posted like a GIF that I think I shared with Robert on Twitter, which he may or may not see in a little while. Apparently, like one of Luigi's animations when you go through a pipe. When he puts one of his weapons in a pipe to send it to an enemy, he fucking dabs.
Yeah, he dabs.
Oh my god.
He puts the shit in the hole. And he's like, "Hey," and I'm like,
Oh man.
I was
What have I
watching the
spent my money
trailer
on?
and I'm like laughing. I'm like, I can't believe I'm sitting here laughing at Rabbids.
yeah, like I think one of the best scenes I've seen
I
so
was
far.
like, wow.
It's like
Robert's just eating it up, man.
Rabbit,
Yeah, man.
Rabbit Peach.
I've been saying
I
this the whole
told you,
time.
bitches.
I was gonna say because one of the best scenes I've seen so far is like Rabbit Peach takes a picture. She's taking like a selfie and shit, and you see her and Rabbit Luigi looking at it, and they won't share with Luigi. So you keep seeing Luigi like try to sneak his head over to look at the picture in the background while there's like actual conversation in the front going on.
No man.
And I'm like, man, y'all, why y'all do Luigi like this? Y'all can't let him see the picture. Nah, man, he can't see shit.
Well, I tell you
Fuck
what,
Luigi.
it's so great. It's so great to hear everyone talk good about the Rabbids because
Robert was right the whole
Yep.
time.
because you gotta say like
Hashtag Robert was right.
every time I see like once I heard this, I was like, no way, this is gonna be awesome. Because again, I always talk back to like Rabbids Go Home. That's an actual good like adventure game, something that's not a minigame collection. And this is finally we're getting another one that's not a minigame collection, and it's an actual like now it's even different. It's a strategy game, and it's like cool. And so to finally hear people that everyone always talks trash about, but is now people are like, yeah, the Rabbids, yeah, the Rabbids.
I'll tell you what, and especially
Awesome.
because the game is apparently pretty good, that's going to work in your favor too.
Hell's yeah.
People be like, oh yeah, they're great. That game is great. They're great in that game.
It's the rise of the Rabbids again. So if Ubisoft could just keep going, and if we could see another solo Rabbids adventure, that would be awesome.
See, here's what I would like to see of the Rabbids that would get me excited is if they made another true Rayman game and somehow incorporated the Rabbids into the Rayman universe again, and like that.
Like the enemies, I guess.
Yeah, like enemies are part of the story or playable characters. I don't even care. Like if they just made it feel like cohesive again with the new Rayman, that's like a sequel to Legends, which I assume they're probably making that anyway. If the Rabbids were in that, I'd be like, okay, now I'm that's at least the universe they came from, and I love Rayman, so I'd like to see that all kind of work together again.
Mm-hmm.
And do it. You know what I'm
I still
saying?
want Ubisoft to give Rayman another 3D.
Yeah, I'd like to
Ditto.
have a 3D.
Because I've been playing Rayman 2 Great Escape recently.
So good.
Man,
So good.
That's what it was called, the 3D one? I thought it was
There was two of them.
There's two of them, yeah.
Hoodlum Havoc was the third
Hoodlum
one.
Havoc
Which,
was on GameCube.
yeah.
Whatever one you were playing, like I was like, man, the controls actually look tight and the camera
it's a
system
great
looks
game.
pretty good.
We
at
had
it.
it on the Dreamcast, actually.
Dreamcast is
awesome on
the-
Dreamcast.
See, I thought it
Finished
was.
version.
I didn't know it was full 3D on the like. I don't remember it being
Yeah.
full 3D.
Yeah, it's full
Rayman
3D.
2.
It's a 3D.
The first one isn't though. The first one is
It's a
an
side
awesome
scroller.
2D side scroller.
That's what I thought. The second one I thought was a mixture of both, but
No,
it was just
no,
that.
he made the move into 3D on the second one.
And it's
Yeah.
funny you say that, T, because if we didn't get Origins and Legends in the past couple of years, I would actually disagree with that and say, no,
Yeah.
give us a side scroller. But we've had two great side scrollers.
Right.
So I'm with you, man. Bring back another 3D.
Yeah, I'd like it. Imagine you have a 3D with the Rabbids as like enemies. I think that'd be
Yeah, with the Rabbids, that's what I'm saying. Like, that would be cool, I think.
Do it. Ubisoft.
Do it.
Do it.
And don't abandon them again, man. Especially like Rayman. Now what is? I mean, think about it. We got Rayman Definitive again, like another same. Like
Yeah.
we're making a new
You're going to
game.
wear it out. You're going to wear it out.
Yeah, give a new game. Like holy crap.
because I was like talking about earlier, we were talking about the release date for Fire Emblem. I'm like, oh, you don't want to get in the way of Rayman Legends Definitive Edition. You know, it's like, come on, like that game could have waited. That's nothing.
Well, I mean, that game is going to just destroy Metroid. Metroid has no chance. Because
Yeah,
Or it could have came out earlier. I think.
yeah, or it could have
Yeah.
been out in June or
April
July.
May or something. Yeah.
The demo is actually, I mean, it reminded me that it's not a bad game. I hate the run button being the trigger though. Like that just feels so wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't. I guess I'm just used to it, and I love the game so much. It is a weird choice, I agree, but it works for me.
I mean, I
It
got
kind of
used
helps
to
you like attack. Like you get to run and attack and run and jump, and you don't have to move from your face buttons because you're just using the trigger. So it works for me. But it is a weird choice. So I do sort of see that.
Somehow Mario Mario doesn't have attack, so
Yeah.
That's the
he
difference.
just jumps. He's just a jumper. He's Jumpman.
Oh, his attack is jumping on your back.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess
Mario and Luigi
next
Mario.
week we'll definitely have some hands-on impressions of Mario+Rabbids, which
Robert's gonna get his hands all over those rabbits this
Hell
weekend.
yeah.
Robert, you can probably have it beat by then. And I will say, honestly, it'll be my first official Mario role RPG style game I've
Yeah.
played bits and
What?
pieces. Like I played
Mario and Luigi is good.
played a Mario RPG for like 10 minutes, and
No Paper Mario.
I can't remember if I've ever played a Paper Mario. So it's gonna be, for me, it's gonna be something kind of new.
Mario and Luigi? Oh my god.
Never played
Yeah,
Mario
Mario and
and
Luigi was great.
Bowser's
That was
Inside
so
Stories.
Bowser's Inside Story is freaking amazing.
What was that on?
DS.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, definitely never played anything. So this will be my first playing Mario in something. I can't say non-platformer because obviously we got Kart and
Sports.
Smash, but so it's gonna be, for me, it's kind of a monumental thing. But actually really excited for it, and sounds like a lot of us are. So next week we'll talk about that, and we didn't really touch upon like Skyrim was playable at Gamescom, and
I'm excited for that.
I'm so excited. I am excited.
He
I'm
sounded
happy
like
to
he
say
was
it.
scared to say anything. He was like,
I'm
People
with
are
you,
like-
G. I'm with you.
people are impressed at how fluid, how smooth it was running in the port mode. But all I see is somebody running for 15 minutes and nothing happening. Like in the,
Skyrim, man.
why
That's not a
is
good
it no one can
slice
get
of the
direct
game.
feed footage of that game though?
I don't
that's
know.
weird. It's
They
like,
might not be allowed to.
I think it's what we're talking about, what Rob was talking about a little bit ago. It's really the portable thing is what separates the Switch, and that's what they pushed. They mentioned it multiple times about FIFA. A lot of these indie teams mentioned it, and it's like you can take it on the go, and it's a home console. So
I didn't like it at first,
It's
but
smart.
if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense, especially for like FIFA and NBA, because it's like, all right, we already have, everybody's already on a PS4 version or the Xbox version. We're used to that, but you got to show those guys, hey, you might want to try out this version. It looks like, it looks really close to what you've already been playing, and you can take it anywhere.
I agree. I got sick of hearing, well, it's FIFA on the portable. Look at it. It's the best portable FIFA we've ever made. That was probably not the best wording, but the way he phrased it at Gamescom was just like, and you can take this on the bus, on the train, and it's the full FIFA experience. And
I mean,
And
that
Skyrim,
could be the
Skyrim.
secret for third parties, man. Like, is exactly that. Like just push that our game is portable, like the Switch does. That's the Switch difference.
Yeah, Skyrim.
It's-
I've already
it's-
bought Skyrim twice. Like, they convinced me to buy it again.
Oh yeah, I'm buying it.
And I'll say right
I'm
now,
gonna get it, bro.
don't prepare to not be super like wowed when it's in docked mode. Like, I mean, it looked like people were
It
saying it
looks
runs
pretty close
really
to
solid, really smooth.
Yeah.
Well,
But-
for me, I've been playing the original version. Like I said, everything almost lowered. I'll be wowed when it's in dark
Yeah.
mode.
Yeah, it's gonna
And-
look.
And then last week before the podcast, I was like, I'm gonna grab the Switch in case we play Splatoon, which we did, and stayed up way too late. I'm carrying the Switch in the palm of my hand, just had it flat. I wasn't gripping it, and I'm like, and I had Zelda. I wasn't playing it, but it was on the screen, and I'm like, I'm walking down my stairs, and I'm just like, I got this game on the device this small, fits in my hand because I had the Joy-Cons detached because I was gonna use the Pro controller. And I'm like, and people are asking for PlayStation 4 level graphics in the thing this small. I'm just like, I don't know how people were expecting that and are still like, oh, look at the downgrade. Look at it, doesn't look that great. Like the thing's the size of my hand but thinner. Like it's crazy.
It's
Yeah, but
woeful
people
ignorance,
don't
man.
care about that. Yeah, they just don't think about.
Yeah,
it
it's
that way.
like haters just want to make excuses for why why they don't want to switch.
they
and
hate us because they ain't us.
Yeah, if they put
That's what
that
it
thing in
comes
their
down to.
hands and they've seen these games the way we see them, it would be a totally different story. But it's like, oh, I want to completely cut myself off.
Yeah, it's like I've long since gotten over the fact that this thing isn't gonna push out, the best of what PlayStation 4, like Horizon Zero Dawn level
Yeah,
visuals
no, it's
and
not.
stuff. Like I've accepted it and I moved on, and I'm still wowed playing Zelda yesterday, and
But
I'm
I
still
bet-
wowed by the game.
I bet Horizon Zero Dawn, whatever level they could get it to, would look pretty damn good on the Switch.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is the Switch is no slouch. It can obviously do some good. It's just all about optimization and taking time and doing the right things.
It'll be interesting to see 3 years from now what people can really how pushed they can take, like level of detail with the effects and stuff, where they can really push the system once they get a full grasp and build maybe some game engines a little more suited for it or something. You know, it'd be interesting to see what Nintendo can do with more time. Years, a couple years from now. So, but I say we're going on 2 hours here. I say we just wrap this up.
Wrap it up.
It was a great discussion. It was good to have Rob back.
Condom on this bitch.
And,
I'm fucking terrible. I'm sorry, folks.
I was saying, good to have Rob back.
Terrell was busy talking about condoms, though.
Yeah.
My bad, dog.
It's all good, man.
So yeah, it was good having you back on.
Thanks. It was awesome being back.
Yeah, if you got any final thoughts, because it might be, who knows, the next time you'll be on. So
yeah, it'll still be a little bit like next week for sure. I'm going to be working on Monday all day. But I mean, it was just awesome being back. I freaking miss you guys. Even when we did Splatoon a few days ago, and I finally got to talk with you guys for a little bit and yell about us.
Oh, yeah, that was last Monday. Was that we did that right?
It was, I think. Yeah, it was so much fun. So,
that was a blast. We had a blast.
Yeah, it was good to be back. I miss chatting with everyone and doing the thing, and I actually have just missed podcasting. Period. So that's just felt really good. And yeah, I mean, I'm stoked for this dumb Mario+Rabbids game. I guess I have to like this game now, so that's gonna happen. And yeah, I definitely will be back again. It for sure not the next week or two, but I promise I will be coming back in a more steady capacity. It will happen. I know it.
All right. So
yeah,
everyone else, you guys are always here, so we don't need your final thoughts.
Y'all don't matter, man. Get out.
Wow.
No, but
I saw a movie on Netflix. You don't want to know about what movies I saw.
Robert went on a cruise. He didn't even know where he was going, but he went.
You made it back. You didn't get kidnapped.
Where'd you end up going?
I went to St. Thomas in Bahamas.
Lovely.
Nice.
Yeah. They were there was beaches and it was hot. I got a tan. I got a tan, but it's already peeling, so I'm white again.
Man. You ain't never seen water that clean living in Jersey for sure. So
in Jersey, it's not nearly that. But I like the heat, so I didn't mind.
I'll tell you what, John Oliver told us all about the water in Jersey, man. Anyone who watched that, there's some bad stuff down there.
Well, I mean, it is the butthole, so.
What is happening?
Watch the nuclear waste thing, and you'll know what I'm talking about.
What is happening?
Anyway,
however, you know what? They did play Rogue One on the ship. I saw Rogue One on the cruise, so that was cool.
All right, that is a thing.
That must have been boring as hell.
I know. Sounds like a waste of time to me.
All right, let's get out of here. Let's we can chat afterwards. But thanks everybody for tuning in to the live chat, and yeah, we'll see you guys next week.